You are listening to Shoot and Scoot, the Flames of War Team Yankee Favourite Nation Darm and Great War podcast that tries to make sense of the weird and wonderful world of 15mm wargaming with our tongues firmly in our cheeks, our panzers flat to the ground, and our dice, more often than not, failing to shoot and scoot every episode. We invite you to join us on our many hobby misadventures on Facebook and on the blog at breakthroughassault.co.uk and to shop online at Battlefield Hobbies because Hammy had a great time at StabCon. If nice dice are your vice, then be sure to check out Dice of War, our dice sponsor here at Shoot and Scoot. And if you need bunkers to bus or autobahns to go too fast on, then also head over to frontlineterrain.square.site, our terrain sponsor.
Terrain.
Pull up. If you would like to contribute to this continued failed cross-checkout podcast, you can now also become a patron supporter by following the link on the Breakthrough Assault blog. Pay £1 a month for your chance to also become internet famous. I'm Eddie Fez Turner, broadcasting from somewhere in the south of England, and I'm joined by my co-host Duncan, Air Support for Life, Gosling.
Both kind of stickers, that's how many you need. All of them.
And Lee, if it's not an A5, it's not a Leopard 2. Parnell.
You gotta have the pointy armour. The pointy armour is what makes a leopard.
Hey, hold on, it's an A5, half the size of an A4.
It's a Madonna tank. Welcome to episode 87, the one where we come crashing back to normality. Lee, what are we talking about tonight?
I'm just thinking the Americans not going to get that at all. A4, A5, what are you talking about?
Oh, B5. This is it, paper gags, that's where it's
You
at.
sunk my battleship.
See their paper.
You sunk my battleship.
Lee, what are we talking about tonight? That was take 4 of the intro. I can't do it again.
Yeah, quickly. Move on.
One of my patrons is going to have got the actual, Eddie ruins the intro. No, he's not going to get it. It's just going to have a mention that you ruined the intro.
Yeah.
So we're going to get angry letters.
I'll tell you what, if you're playing along with your Shoot and Scoot bingo, I'm going to mention the ETC. Darren, don't Google that. Why is this a command card and not in the book?
Yeah. Schwimmwagens.
Schwimmwagens! Luftlandesturm!
Oh God, I've just upset myself now. Why are they 3 points?
Oh God, he triggered him. Anyway, moving quickly on. We're going to have internet famous. We're going to welcome our new patrons as we hit the magical number 6, dude.
The big 6-0.
The big 6-0. Then we're going to be doing.
How can you make that sound rude? It's just a number.
Because I can't divulge why. I'll explain when we're not recording.
Offline. That's a Discord Patreon exclusive right there.
Oh God!
Don't Google that, Darren.
Sorry. We're doing faces, spaces, something. We're talking about what we've been painting. When we get doing news in the front, talk about what we've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll be having our Patreon officer answers. And then we'll discuss upcoming events. And then we shall go to Shoot and Scoot.
Yeah. Sounds like
so, Eddie.
Quite nice.
Eddie, will you please introduce our new patrons?
Well, I'd like to say a big hello to the Matthew Davis Band Experience, who is a brand new scooter, as you had to call it.
Don't do that. Scooter. When I was young, I thought that life was so wonderful.
It was about a shooter, and it was a spate of school shooters.
Pay £1 a month for your chance to also become a wanted internet fellow.
To be a lone gunman.
Join us on the GCHQ watch list.
I think they've run out of list now.
Also, fantastic hello, Happy New Year to Harry Yates. No relation to the footballer.
What about the fish shop?
No.
Okay.
Not allowed. Game over.
No relation to Harry Ramsden. Okay, gotcha.
No.
That's how that works. I'm sure that.
Too highbrow.
Yeah.
Harry Ramsden is too highbrow. Gee.
And Cornelius Aboying.
Speaking of highbrow,
who is the wizard? You're a wizard, Harry. If a name like Cornelius, you've got to be a wizard, right?
You don't have to. Cornelius Fudge is the Minister of Magic. But
there you go. This is his second cousin twice removed, or this is his maiden name.
Can I just go back
Matt,
Matt,
Harry, Cornelius, thank you very much for becoming our new patrons. You are now internet sub-famous, triply so in Canada. So
exactly,
that's the thing. I have they joined the Discord yet, Lee? Discord manager?
I believe Harry has. I believe.
Ooh.
I'm just trying to think the others have. I'm pretty sure that one of us at least put their head in.
They got waved at.
That's a bit personal. Determined to paint to push that.
It's just what you have to do with tanks, isn't it? You have to put your head in and make sure you paint the inside.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So a big hello to them and all of our existing patrons over on Discord.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving me lots of things to read through.
Oh,
It keeps you entertained.
It does, yeah.
Yes. So if you want to become one of our patrons, then chuck us £1 a month, and what you'll get is access to our Discord, as we keep saying. You'll get access to the episodes at least a day early, if not more, because I forget to change the setting over to public after it.
I think they had 2 weeks in the last one, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a good stint until I realised after halfway through my Christmas break what happened.
Wait a second.
We're going to be doing some more giveaways soon. We had a recent one for our Tiger thing. What was
It was Tiger or Chopper.
Yes.
So,
we don't took the Chopper
yeah.
option. It was all Tigers.
Yeah, it was all Tigers. I was quite surprised at that. And it was
helicopters are death traps. Everyone knows that.
But it was also, you didn't have to paint it. You could do a little mini tableau or just set something up that looked cool. And Roy, it's Roy Hood that won it. He had a fantastic, just grey Tigers.
No relation to the battleship.
No. HMS Roy Hood. Yeah. Didn't he do Did he do Record Breakers?
I don't
Is that Roy Hood?
You missed me.
Oh no. I don't know, I'll have to look that up.
Too highbrow again.
What, Record Breakers? Jesus.
Well, it was BBC, it's
Well, that's true.
Don't Google that, Darren. Darren, don't Google that.
Yeah. Dedication. It's what you need.
See, I briefly think why you're saying don't Google BBC, and then thankfully my brain caught up.
Well, it's also that time period between 1970 and 1990 where everything went a bit wrong at the Beeb. So there's probably a good chance of that being in a puppet as well.
I'm Adam Jones. It's all gone wrong for me.
Exactly.
What have you boys been painting then? Duncan? The Order?
I have painted. Yeah, I still can't work out that's always been the Order. It's very unsettling.
Here's the question: have I broken the Order by me saying it and not having Lee say it?
Yeah, probably.
I'm not sure that counts. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to the judge. I've painted a Jaeger army for Team Yankee.
What?
Since the last episode. Yeah.
What?
So I'm just finishing off the Panzer cannons now, but I've painted 3 platoons of Jaegers.
3 platoons.
Yeah. And the command stand and an M50 577 and some Panzer mortars.
Wow.
So
but you haven't done their like M113 transports.
No, because I want them to be the really scabby ones. Because I had a look and
actually, truck mounted guys. Okay.
Yeah, because apparently you could tell which ones were good Heimsatz, whatever they're called, brigades, because they had Leopard 1s and M113s. The crappy ones apparently had the Panzer cannons and no transports or just trucks.
So have you painted them all as per the picture you sent?
Yeah.
All of them exactly the same?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you seen Die Hard 2?
Probably. A long time ago. Why?
Because in Die Hard 2, there's a scene where they're firing the machine guns at each other.
Yeah.
And they're full of blanks.
Right.
Which is the training ammunition.
Yes.
And they demark it as training by putting blue tape around the magazines.
Oh, bugger it! Really? What, on the Milans?
Yes. Yeah, so I wasn't going to say anything. I actually said to him, "Should I actually say anything?" Because he's painted them all. I thought, "Oh no, let him." But yeah.
Oh no.
So on a rocket.
Oh,
there are 2 bands. The band at the back is basically coloured to show you what the motor is, and then there's a band at the front to show you what the warhead is.
Right.
Now, generally, the one at the back's brown because it's a low order explosive, and the one at the front is generally yellow because it's a high explosive. But if they're both blue, it
Yes.
means it's an inert motor and an inert warhead.
Which I said you shouldn't
Oh,
tell him because then it would give an excuse when he fails all his
I
firepower
wasn't going to.
checks.
You would have just blurted it out.
I didn't blurt it
Oh,
out. It was a
no.
carefully laid trap because I wanted to record his reaction.
Oh, I'm really upset now.
I wasn't
That's
going
like
to waste that content.
H39s all over again. Oh.
So I didn't want to say anything because you've gone through all the effort of painting the little yellow markings on.
Well, I even Googled it.
You paint the bands on. It looked
Well,
cool.
you did. You probably got a really good picture of them firing training ammo.
It's fine. It's fine because they're Jaegers. They could probably been issued training ammunition and told to hold the line.
I mean, there is that.
Yeah. Here you go. These will work, won't they? You've only got 1 Milan. Oh.
Just shout bang.
Shout bang.
Was the hot missile different then? Because the hot missile I think's got. No, it's probably not actually exactly the same. Thinking about it, my helicopter's got exactly that, and my tow missiles.
No.
I'm pretty sure you asked me when you did your helicopters, and I told you how it worked.
Yeah, you did, and I forgot since then because
Oh,
I've slept. Oh, it's fine. I'm going to leave them there. That's absolutely
fine. There you go.
Yeah.
At least that way you know. I wasn't going to let you, because that's the kind of thing you'll get. Oh, well, actually, come over. Well,
Yeah.
actually.
See,
Yeah,
I had this recently with Hawkeye and his SAS Jeeps because he put the berets in the classic SAS sand colour,
yeah.
which is fine except for in I think 1943 the British standardised all airborne forces had to have maroon berets, including the SAS, and that's why the likes of the Dutch SAS and the French SAS had red berets.
Okay.
Right. Even post-war.
Because they didn't bother to change them.
Because that's what they had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's like, but you then have this classic thing where do you paint it correctly, but then have people constantly telling you wrong, or do you paint it incorrectly? I mean, occasionally has someone tell you wrong, but otherwise most people will just keep their mouth shut because they think, SAS and the berets.
The answer to that when someone goes over and goes, "That's wrong." You go, "Cool. Show me your painting models that are painted correctly."
Well, yeah, there is that. I mean,
you don't have any? Oh, well, wind your neck in then.
To say, if you Google Rochambeau or kick to the nuts, then I think that that's probably the appropriate response. Yeah, so the other interesting thing about having done all that is it's worth no points, basically, as well.
Because
it's all rubbish. So that entire company is 25 points. Which means that for the year as well. So I've also painted some. I've had an infantry burst. So I've painted the hip. That's finished.
Nice.
The hip helicopter and the airborne stuff to go in the hip is also painted.
Oh, that's a new platoon.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought that was just like, here's my helicopter, some mod infantry I had already. I didn't realize it was new infantry as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate you. It's the 11th of January.
And that's the armies stuff.
Oh.
So, because Lee's got your stuff, by the way. He's got your Land Rover and things.
Yeah, it's all packed ready for Sunday. So.
Yeah, so that's done. But it does mean that for January and for 2023 to start with, my points per stand currently stands at 0.68 points per stand. So less than 1 point a stand, which is a bit depressing. It's a mighty number of units or bases, but not many points. But yeah, but next time we do an airborne operation, I will have a Jaeger company now that we can.
That's gonna be awesome.
We can get throttled by airborne troops because it'll be roles reversed. It'll be Soviets being hit on 4s and West Germans being hit on 3s. And not being able to dig in.
World.
Exactly. You could have what's the tank destroyer thing that the airborne forces have got, Lee?
What
the Soviet ones? The
ASU 85s.
That's it. So you can have ASU 85 versus Panzer Jagd cannon or Cannon Jagd Panzer, whatever it is, with the 90 mils. So
worst shootout ever. Yes.
No, it'd be lethal because no one's got any armor.
Yeah.
What's your front armor? 6. Oh dear.
Oh no. You've chosen.
Oh no. So I think that's it. I've put together my Egyptian BMP-1 company.
Ooh.
So the infantry, so there might be next. Just one of them because I forgot how many stands there actually are. There's bloody hundreds.
Yes, it's a lot.
But yeah, I need to put the BMPs together for that because we played the game and it was quite good. And I remember that I still have Fate of a Nation to paint. So Done that, and I think that might be it. Yep, that's it.
Nice. Lee, what have you been painting?
I have not been productive as Duncan.
Well, no
Sure.
one has. That's
I
the
don't
whole
know
point.
what's happened. It's gone mad.
Clearly, you've had a lot of conference calls and you've been very
Yeah.
attentive to those calls.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
See, I miss days bit of work from home, but this sort of thing. I have painted 3 hips,
They are lovely as well.
which means my points per figure is better than Duncan's at 1.
Yes,
A single point each.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Outrageous.
Yeah, so these are the mine. Yours are 3D printed ones, whereas mine were the Battlefront ones. So.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see when we put them side by side, because I only needed the one, and I needed some other bits and bats, and I just thought I'd see what it looked like. Because the worst comes to worst, if it was rubbish, we could just get Mike to crash it.
Yeah. Because Mike likes crashing aircraft, to be fair.
He loves crashing aircraft.
He does. He's on the no-fly list now.
So I painted them basically the same as my Hinds. They got that kind of like their beige base and their green patch camo over the top of it.
Can I ask a question on the helicopters, because they're not on forces yet, right? So
They're not. No.
are there any prerequisites for taking helicopters? So do you have to have? Okay.
Because at the moment, all they are is you swap out one set of helicopters for another. So all the units that have helicopters anyway. You just replace the fact that they have Lynxes or Hinds or whatever, and you give them the larger transport helicopters.
What about if my Afghanistan, for example, are in support and they don't come with helicopters in their unit?
Well, the Afghanistan basically
Not the Afghanistan, air assault.
One helicopter for every 8 figures for a point, basically.
Yeah.
But you don't count attachments. Only the AK and RPG teams, basically.
Yeah, so I've got 7 stands, so that would give me 1 hip I could take, and then the spigot just catches a ride, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's legal. There's nothing illegal about doing that. If I've got just tanks and BMPs or whatever, and just having an air assault.
The way the wording is you're swapping out units that can take helicopters for a different type of helicopter.
But that's my point. I don't know if they can take a helicopter because they're coming out of the support. They don't have helicopters in the unit.
Right. So right now the rules that.
Sorry, I'm being awkward, but I was trying to read this and trying to work it out in my head, and I was struggling.
Okay, well, that's because the rules right now assume you're playing the air assault mission, but it's unclear whether you can have these helicopters outside of the air assault mission.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Yep.
The ones where you swap them out, well, that's probably not really going to be a problem if you do that. The ones where you buy an addition, which is basically the VDV and the Afghanistan.
Yep.
It's like I say, it's not clear if that is the intent, but obviously when we play, we don't care.
Oh no. Yeah. I was just thinking that if someone asked me the question, I'd go, "Well, no."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd assumed I hadn't read the VDV and the Afghanistan rules. I'd assumed it was like the NATO ones, because all the NATO ones are you replace your Lynxes with a Chinook. So to me, that's like actually, ironically, you spend all this extra effort and money to make things worse because you're putting all of your eggs in one basket.
I spend more money because a box of, if you're placing four Hueys with 1 Sea Stallion, is probably a massive saving in money.
Oh, that's true. I spend less. Well, that's if you haven't already bought the Hueys, of course.
Oh, that's true.
And also, you've got
which
to work
most
out
people probably have.
Some way of lugging it round as well. You need some kind of heavy transport system.
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was interesting because you're right. And I was looking at just the Soviet stuff, and it's not a pay a point to put them in helicopters job. It's you can have these guys on foot.
I don't think it's ever going to come up for the simple reason that in the competitive environment, it would actually matter. No one's going to be taking helicopter troops anyway.
Because they're a death trap.
Yeah.
Because they are a death trap, because you are not guaranteed to get them on the board, and there's so many ways that the opponent can just drive within 8 inches with a unit and wave you off.
Yeah, okay.
It's one of those things where, like, yes, it's not defined. It doesn't actually have to be defined. It's just theory people are saying. If I'm wrong, then feel free to write in and correct me.
Is Phil Yates' pseudonym?
At Phil Yates, yeah.
At Feel Free.
At Feel Free to Phil Yates.
I'm not feeling Phil Yates.
Oh, make him sad.
Well, all right. I might just a quick one then. Oh, no, sorry, that's off on a tangent, but I thought it was worth talking about while we were talking about helicopters. But they do look lovely, Lee. That masking putty that you use.
Yeah, masking putty.
Doesn't have to do a good
Masking
job.
putty is black magic, quite literally.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's Friday's painting session for me is helicopters.
Hey, yours are easy. You're just doing like olive drab. It's like olive drab nature helicopters.
No, I've got I'm RAF, aren't I?
Yeah, olive drab.
They weren't olive drab, were they? They were grey and.
The Lynxes were. I'm pretty sure the RAF ones were just plain olive drab.
Really? I thought they were two-tone, like Falkland style.
Oh, it might have been actually. Oh, in the 80s, yeah, probably were actually.
Yeah, totally.
Could you do one yellow, like a Sea King?
Yeah.
Do you like
If
a
I had a
Sea
Sea
King?
King, I would, but I think a Sea King's going to be slightly lost doing a search and air rescue, sea air rescue over northern Germany.
Could be an exfil. Just saying.
At Xfil Yates.
Exfil, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you were right. Two-tone camo. Yeah,
Yeah, two-tone camo. Nice radials. Roundels, that's the one. Thank you.
In yellow.
You are becoming the Airmeister.
Well, I was at the RAF museum this week as well.
Exactly.
Taking pictures of cool things. Yeah, that's a meteor.
You should have said, you know, I've written several articles on aircraft.
Yes. I'm internet famous about my aircraft abilities.
I couldn't really because I was talking to a former group captain, I think he was.
Yeah, that means he knows what an airplane looks like once.
He was still an active reservist and things like that. So,
well, I'm technically an active reservist. So.
No, you're not. Are you?
Technically.
Jesus Christ!
If they ever need to, if there's a combat glider drop into Arnhem, they probably
the
won't call me,
Luftlandesturm.
If the Luftlandesturm gets
reformed.
In case of forthright, Blake Grass.
Yeah. Is it just like Patton who get him out of frozen storage?
My Patton's got freezer burn.
Yeah.
Why's he
got a pocket full of potato waffles? Shut up.
Pop in the bike away for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
They're waffly versatile.
No, waffles you stick in the toaster. That's black magic.
That is black magic.
How does that work? I don't
know.
Darren, definitely Google that.
Bird's eye potato waffles.
Yeah,
plus toaster.
It's insane. It's like people boiling hot dogs in hotel kettles.
And but
that was just weird. When I saw that.
People also boggle their pants in the same kettle. So
I'm sorry, what?
Yep, it's a thing. If you don't have access, I have not done that. No, luckily I took enough pants for that week.
See, what you want to do then is wee in the kettle before they get to that stage. It's like that's what do you call that? Force. No, escalation dominance at that point.
Escalation. To be honest, most overseas cups of tea do taste like piss, so it doesn't. It's not degrade anything.
Yeah, but if they boil their pants in it, then they'll also boil that smell into them. So they'll just
terrain.
They'll have clean undies, but they'll stink like a care home.
You really are escalating to de-escalate here. It's
yeah.
We're just pushing our clean rating as far as we can.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on those undies.
Dicing with death.
Eddie, what have you been painting?
What have I painted? I have painted absolutely nothing in 15mm.
That's fine.
But this year I'm quite proud of myself actually. I have painted, I think it's 1,600 points of Lord of the Rings.
It's all Isengard as well, isn't it?
No, Mordor.
Mordor, sorry.
There'll be an army where
Isengard.
Mordor. Well, the Isengard was last year. That was all the Uruk-hai. And then this year, it was a refight of the Battle of Pelennor Fields, of which I was the baddies. So I painted 75 Moranian orcs. Orcses.
Yep.
With command and extra shieldy special character dudes. 3 trolls.
Mm-hmm.
A Mordor catapult. Jesus. Gothmorg, who is the orc commander, the ugly one with the weird arm.
Yep.
and his warg, and the Witch King of Arnor,
Angmar.
his Angmar on his big flappy fell beast.
You didn't
Oh,
do
wow.
the Mouth of Sauron.
No, the Mouth of Sauron's at the Black Gate. I've got him. He's for
Okay.
a different. He's for later on. He's for Ron.
The Hand and Mouth.
This was the Pelennor Fields where they're marching across the field. They're sieging Gondor,
Yeah.
and then they get the Rohirrim in the side. So my mate Justin did a fez in that he put off his painting of his Gondorians until the day before we were going up there, and then literally didn't sleep.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
He stayed up all night, even though I told him that he didn't have to paint his models. He was like, "No, it's your birthday, like mini birthday party, and you've painted your models. I'm going to paint mine."
Also, it's
stayed up all night.
Warhammer World, man. It's Warhammer.
Yeah,
World.
exactly. He gets it. It. So yeah, he painted like 30 Gondorian warriors with all their, which is like, you think, oh, it's just a load of armor and stuff, but he also did all the shields with the little tree of Gondor.
Oh, Jesus. What, transfers or paintings?
Is it a transfer?
No, it's not a transfer. It's raised detail on a plastic shield that he ended up getting a cotton bud and kind of like doing a dry brush highlight over the front.
Wow.
No, it's awesome. He knocked it out of the park, because when he was talking about it, you kind of sit there going, okay, they're going to look a bit pants. They looked amazing. You couldn't have told them.
Yeah,
that's a skill, but do that kind of all-night painter and actually still not look like you done all-night painting.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he'd done all-night painting because he was sat there just. By the time we got
fueled, yeah.
By the time we'd actually set up, it was really nice because loads of people were coming over and asking loads of questions about the game. There was a guy from Japan who'd come over and in broken English, but very good broken English, asked like, what game is it? Lord of the Rings, and we said Pelennor Fields. He said, "Oh, Return of the King, my favourite." Because obviously the terrain we had just the like Osgiliath ruins set up as like the wall of Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
And then I had all my guys in the big column, and Paul had all his Rohirrim, which are just the fantastically painted ones, all set up to charge into the side of my my orcs. It's just a really good game, and we made jokes of like, all I wanted to do was have Theoden get killed by the Witch King, and then have Eowyn come over and kill the Witch King, and that'd be happy. And also for my catapult, which I painted, brand new model, my Mordor catapult to crush some Gondorians. Turned out the Morian catapult didn't kill a single person that it actually hit.
What?
But it always killed the person next to them with the splash damage. So it's like there's a strength 10 hit, which removes all wounds on the person it hits, and I'd roll a 2 or a 1 and not wound them. And then everyone within 2 inches gets a strength 5 hit, and that would kill. It was just like, oh, I've hit 4 things in a row, and I've not killed a single person I've hit. But the guy next to him has just been like,
look out, sir.
Yeah, exactly. We said it was reverse Gothmorg. Like in the movie when the Gothmorg gets, he steps out of the way. He steps out of the way, but pushes his mate in front of it, which is quite funny. And then the Witch King flapped in, and for 4 rounds of combat, tried to kill Theoden.
Oh my god!
And failed.
Good.
Even though Theoden had no points of might, no points of will, he was just a normal guy. The dice were just like, no, that's not going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. No, you're not going to get that.
Oh my god!
But it was a hilarious game. It was really, really fun because it was, it's narrative play. It's not competitive at all. It was just hilarious.
Oh, that's good.
Really enjoyed it. Really, really good. Also got the last little Forge Worldy bits for my Squat Necromunda campaign gang.
Oh yeah,
some playtests on Monday
with the assault cannon.
The exosuit that has the sustained rapid fire 3 heavy bolter.
Yeah, it's clearly just an assault cannon.
That's clearly just an assault cannon.
Yeah.
It's also clearly just going to explode. And
a version 2 assault cannon where you roll 3 dice, it might explode. I love it.
Jazz,
yeah. If you roll more than 1 ammo check and you fail more than 1 ammo check, then the gun is broken for the rest of the game. And it's like that's excellent. I love that.
That's classic Necromunda.
That is classic Necromunda.
It was so funny when Stu joined our group chat for the Team Yankee. He mentioned about doing Ash Waste Necromunda, and all of a sudden Eddie is bouncing up and down. Me. I want to do it. I want to do it.
Very excited. It's been a lot of fun. The new Necromunda is really, really good. Like most things, it's really, really good if you play it with people with the right
way.
mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is a sprawling mess of rules and extra bits and stuff like that, so you can get quite easily bogged down. But if you just kind of
All
have
18 books of it.
yeah, exactly. But if you have that, this is probably how it should work. Agree with the opponent, crack on. It's really good. It's really good fun. No, so I actually painted an absolute ton, so much so that I'm running out of room for painted models.
Oh my god!
So I'm having to put some things back into deep storage to free up space to have my painted models in storage.
Good grief!
I know, and I'm excited to keep it going.
Yeah, good.
Contrast paints are life, bro. They're just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, they don't look like you've been using contrast paints and what you've been doing. It's
Do you want to know the really funny thing?
what's that?
It's 70 it's nearly 80 odd models, and technically they're all non-metallic metals because all the armor is just sprayed grey with a grey wash over the top.
Huh.
That works.
Yeah, which my friend spent 12 hours painting one shield non-metallic metals. And I went, oh, that's funny. I did 75 models at an average of 8 minutes a model in non-metallics. You're doing it wrong.
You, my friend, have made mistakes.
You have been blocked. Oh. No, but so Friday is all about getting my Polish to a point where I can play with them at the Whiskey Run game on Sunday, which is going to be fun. I've got some neat surprises, which I won't spoil now for those who are attending. Also lined up. I told you guys about the Vulcan, though, didn't I? Was it my last podcast?
Yeah, the Vulcan.
That was the last podcast. Yeah,
that was the last
Mike
podcast.
Pipped you to the punch.
Yeah, it's sitting there looking at me forlornly, going, "Oh, but I was going to be really cool." I was like, "Yeah, but you're not a scattered 1 to 100 scale B-52 across an autobahn, cool, are you?" And it was like, "No."
I stood in the basically in the Bombay of a Vulcan.
I recognised that, and I didn't.
Yeah, so
didn't say. Yeah, exactly. It was like, "Oh, I know what that is."
I did ask why it was so big, and they were like, "Well, nuclear bombs that big," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. I see your point. Why are my trousers down? No, they're up. I can see they're up. Oh, I see your point. Why are my trousers down? No, they're up. I can see they're up.
Classic bottom life.
Love it.
Yeah,
that was Spaces, something and something.
So, news from the front. What have we been playing?
Funny enough, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you've already talked about that.
Yeah.
You've already done yours.
You skipped ahead. Have you played anything, Lee?
I played some up at we do Favourite Nations, even though my army is
No. We put it to the vote. We put it to the vote to the Patreons, and overwhelmingly, people wanted Fate of a Nation.
Yeah, apparently patrons hate me.
Not Great War.
Yeah, Great.
If they hated you, they would say a Great War.
No, it's not that bad. It's not great. Tanks. Your world of tanks. Oh god.
Desert War.
Yeah. No, it's good though. I enjoyed it.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the game.
Well,
definitely enjoyed the game.
I knew you were taking your Megax, so I did deliberately not take the Thunderbolts.
I'm not sure that made it better.
Oh, okay.
I had the army I did for the original Fate of 4 gamers, so it's basically, well, it can be up to 8 Megax, though that's a lot of points. So normally it's about 6 Megax in a very badly optimized formation. With
really
a particular M113 mounted infantry, which are awesome and the best thing in the army.
Yep.
I had some priests, and then I had 2 tow jeeps, which continue to disappoint me.
You're not angry, just disappointed.
Oh, well, it was be fair. I got sort of let down by the mission, the tow jeeps, but and yeah, you were rocking up with T55, T62, 2 T62s, 2 BMPs,
BMP
2 lots of artillery, aircraft, because you're now the air power advocate for the group.
Exactly. And also, I had my Recce SU-100s.
Because scout and strength is an option, yeah.
Well, no, because you just go, oh, these are worth a point each. Oh well, they can go find the enemy. Yeah. No,
I
it's
ended
pretty
up
cool.
playing Encounter, I think, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. So already I'm in trouble because now 3 of my Magacs and the Toad Jeeps are now off table. So
Yeah.
I've got the infantry platoon, I've got the priests, I've got the HQ Magac, and I've got a platoon of 2 Magacs holding the entire line versus this massive horde of Egyptian tanks.
Angry Egyptian tanks.
Yeah.
Although what did I have in reserve? I had to put my BMP1 company in reserve.
Yeah.
Because they're worth a lot of points. And
two
it was
T-55s.
T-55s, yeah.
Yeah. And so I put the infantry holding one objective because, like I say, Israeli infantry is nails.
Oh, it's so
and
hard.
They will hold
Ridiculous.
that objective. And then I had all 3 Magacs and the priests over on the over flank.
Yep.
On the objective.
And your commander was kind of loitering in the middle, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was kind of remained close to the other Magacs, but yeah, he was in a position where he could, provide some fire to the infantry if they needed it, which they did in a little bit. Yeah, and it started off okay. I'm opening. I had the first turn, which is frustrating because obviously you can't shoot and get the artillery in. I fired a few shots at the T-62s and didn't achieve much. I fired a shot at T-55 and I think I killed one.
No, it's a PT-76 that you blew.
PT-76, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, blew the absolute living bejesus out of it.
Yeah, in the actual report they issued, it was a T-55.
T-90.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you sort of advanced. There's a little bit coy for the first turn. Although your aircraft came screaming in for the first of many turns. As they came in turn after turn after turn.
6 straight turns.
Harassing my poor defenseless priests, so they're 50 cows.
Yep.
And you managed to bail 3 of them with your cannons.
Yep.
And then my lone priest, because the others then didn't get back in because they're being at 4, passed the last stand.
Nice.
Did a 1-gun bombardment on your hails and killed 2 of them.
What?
Yeah, which is embarrassing.
Yeah, those priests were probably the star player that game. I think
easily. They wouldn't run away. They all got back in eventually.
Yeah,
I think I might have killed 1.
I think over the time you did kill all of them, but it took you a while because you just kept coming in and like bailing one each turn or something like that.
Yeah, stupid cannons. Yeah.
But your aircraft just kept screaming in, and it was disrupting me because, like I said, the guys were generally like 1 or 2 wouldn't get back in. So I don't think I had a full battery apart from 1 turn.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, you actually started getting kills and started killing them. They killed the Toad Jeeps in the turn they appeared. Because that's what my Toad Jeeps do, is just die horribly.
They did take some losses, though. I think you killed half the flight, didn't you, with 50 cal?
Yeah, over turn. Annoying thing is, I took the little autocannon half tracks out to put the Toad Jeeps in. Because I thought, I'm not going to take aircraft. What I need is more raw anti-tank.
Oh,
and he took the aircraft and goes, bugger.
Oh, no.
4 points, Eddie. 4 points, the Mirages.
They are really good.
Yeah, that's then cost my anti-aircraft.
Yep. Meow.
Yeah.
That was great.
And it was looking good for a little bit because I was holding you back. I hadn't taken much in the way of casualties on the Magacs.
No, I couldn't kill those Magacs for love nor money. Do you remember that? I got a flank shot with one of the T-55s.
Yeah.
And rolled an inevitable 1 and just bailed him out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, for God.
My reserves arrived and
they beat the snot out of me.
You actually sent T-55 to try and get a flank shot. But to be fair, you got a good position and just like missed.
Yeah.
Oh, you bailed me. You
I
got 1 in the firepower.
I did. I bailed you, and you stayed bail for about 3 turns.
Because once again, 4+ remount is the bane of my Israelis. Yeah.
I don't know why it's only a 4.
Oh, because their M60, the M48s had a habit of burning once penetrated because of hydraulics.
Right.
And I
That's
think
pretty bad.
the crews thought the M60s inherited the same issue, and so they didn't tend to get in too quickly because they were worried about turning to being burnt alive, which is a fair consideration.
Soldiers don't care about that. They obviously want to hold the objective.
Yeah, God damn it. Get in there, soldier.
I think it came down to my commander got bailed,
Yep.
which meant he couldn't contest the objective, which meant he won.
Yeah, I ended up just swarming that side of the board with infantry and BMP ones.
Yeah, because basically it was my CO trying to fend off the it's one objective because
Yeah.
the two McGacks eventually got killed, or one got killed, one got bailed, and the other one ran away at the first opportunity.
Yeah.
The three McGacks on the other flank, and they were trying to push back you on the other objective, but it was just too much for me to get through.
Well, that was when my SU-100s flipped around onto the other side of the hill because I was thinking you were going to drive past.
Yeah,
you didn't. You just sat there and shot them in the bottom.
Well, I had to because I've had this thing before where I get cocky and overextend the M60s.
Overextend.
Lee never overextends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the classic Lee overextension. And yeah, but I think it comes back to what I say every time we play Favored Nation, which I need to rejig the army to make it more infantry focused, put the McGacks into support.
Yeah, 3 of them as a support platoon.
Yeah. Take with tow jeeps and literally throw them as far away as possible.
Yeet them over some hill somewhere.
I keep changing my mind on the priest, whether to keep them or to replace them with a cheaper alternative like your 120mm mortars.
I think the 120s because you can also buy 3 of them, so you can get a platoon of 3 120 mortars. So you even save at a point you don't need the full 4. Even
I think what I want to try and do is have both because I do like the priests.
Yeah,
they certainly convinced me this game with their performance.
They were good. They were good. It's just one of those things. It's the same thing with the Israeli army generally. It's just you don't have the mass, do you?
No.
And that's what's that's what usually scuppers you. But it was quite close. The T-62s were quite good at long range sniping when you don't take a whole company of them and just take a platoon. They can kind of loiter back and just actually use their armor.
Yeah, that anti-tank 19's enough to hurt me. So
exactly. But yeah, the Egyptian infantry is awesome.
I was surprised. Yeah, it was surprising how ineffective your spigots were, the anti-tank missiles.
I think it's because you have to be stationary for a start, which is not ideal generally. But it's the hit on as well. So they've only got 1 dice. The way you deployed in amongst sort of the built up area meant I could only get 2 or 3 on each tank in your platoon. Yeah. And then your long range concealed, and then hit on 4. So it's like 4s or 5s. 5s or 6s to hit you. So and then you've still got a reasonably good chance of bouncing it at that.
Yeah, and front armor 15 versus anti-tank 19, 18 wasn't
18,
it?
Yeah, because we were trying to work out if it's 19 or not. It's not.
It's 19 Team Yankee. I would say it must have changed the warhead or something.
So, but it was quite close. There was a couple of hairy moments, especially when your reserves came on and just obliterated a T-55 platoon. And then it was when I looked at the T-55 stats, I went, can't really do much from the front, can I? It's like, nope. I don't know.
Then you got sort of scuppered by the Cross 4+ trying to get on my flanks. Only one T-55 made it.
We both did.
To be fair, managed to took his shot and at least managed to bail one.
Yeah, but you did it with your general as well, didn't you? Your commander, sorry, trying to cross that little wadi and flank my infantry, and he got hit. He just stopped at a wall, then got stopped by what was it? A palm tree or something.
Yeah. If I'm sitting there with my bum exposed while your PT-76s are going, that looks tasty.
Exactly. The 3 that were left were like, he killed all of us. He's killed all our mates. Get him.
He missed and got my undivided attention.
Yes. Yeah, and they accidentally kicked Bee's Hive and paid the consequences. But it was a good game. Still best game that they make. Still the
Absolutely.
Best game. Still felt balanced.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad I didn't take the Thunderbolts though, because I think that would have probably been less of a thing.
Yeah.
Stupid artillery. Yeah, and then I played Martin on Friday. We played the scenario out of the book. Da, da, da.
Da, da, da.
Which we can't talk about yet, because it will be
We
going out
can't.
before the embargo. So.
We can't, but it's a good scenario. We actually used it to represent, so not obviously the in itself. But I won't go into too much detail. But it was 50 points of versus 75 points of, and a lot of the better from the new book. Spoiler:
We can't talk about it yet.
Oh, can we not? You have to cut.
No.
No,
Oh, well,
it's the
nothing.
embargo.
Everything you just said, we'll have to delete, basically. It's
Sorry.
fine. It's not a problem. This is
Yeah, that's it. No more news from the front.
Edit Duncan's
Yeah.
illicit game.
Put it in the secret track.
56 minutes.
Delete. Redact. It's redact, surely.
Redacted.
redact. Yes.
Redacted.
Oh, just bleep it. Yeah, keep it in, but just bleep it. Like, so, Martin had these bleeps, and they are
Right, and a
on a
beep, and
bleep.
a beep, and a bleep,
Yeah.
and a bleep.
That was fun.
You could do that. Cool. Okay. If that's news from the front, you play more Necromunda, you think, Eddie? Before we move on.
What did I play? I played some BattleTech.
Oh my god, really?
The sacred game.
BattleTech Alpha Strike, the new version.
Oh yes. How was that then?
Incredibly quick. It's insane because you go from BattleTech Classic with all of the hit points. You've been shot in your left cartilage of your right knee.
You'll find LBX 20. Okay,
Yeah.
go make a cup of tea. This is going to take a while.
Exactly. And an Alpha Strike is the war game version, where it's like, oh, you've been hit, take 6 damage, but I've only got 4 damage. Well, you're dead then. Holy crap!
You're a wasp, and you've just been hit by an AC-20. This is not going to be a happy day.
Yes, thanks for playing. No, it's really cool. And it is that different scale. So it's, obviously the Alpha Strike is designed to have at least like 15 or 20 mechs aside
Okay.
for a full size game.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, like
Yeah, 'cause
in the
normally
main
we
game,
play-
if you had like 3, that's a lot.
Well, normally you play a lance, and a lance is 4. But yeah.
And that's a full game. That's like 2 hours.
Or some bugger would turn up with clanners, and you have, and they go, "Oh, I've got mine are in 5s." And,
Yeah, it's a lot of toys. But the Alpha Strike one is real simplified, and it still feels like BattleTech, which is the good thing of it. It still feels like BattleTech when you're playing, because you have the simplified rules for heat and things like that, with your big stompy robots. But obviously you can have more, which is really cool, and it just becomes a lot more fluid.
Is more?
More is more.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a different scale of war game, and it works quite well. So BattleTech Alpha Strike.
I keep seeing the box on various retailers, and I keep getting tempted at buying it because I don't actually own any Battle Mechs. I was meant to buy some when we were going through the thing of playing it. I never got around to buying any because they're hard to get hold of at the time.
Yeah,
and they got all the nice modern ones, which I like.
The only adjustment I would say, if you do play it out there, and it's quite a good one. So when you're shooting, you have like 6 damage points, or 3 damage points, or 4 damage points for your weapon. And the current rules are you roll 2d6 once you've worked out what you need to hit, and you either hit and do all your damage, or you miss and you do no damage. Which, if you're doing like 6 damage, can actually be quite devastating, because it's like, I kill everything, or I do nothing.
Yeah.
So one of the mods they've done, at least Justin the club has done, said, look, you roll 1 dice, which is your pilot dice, which is 1/2 of your 2d6, and then you roll a number of dice equal to your damage, so in this case 6, and then you add those damage dice to your pilot dice to see if you hit. So you don't always hit with all of your damage, but you might hit with 1 or 2 points, when then actually,
Okay.
So it gives it's quite cool. It's quite a good little mod, because I can see why, if you just, because a lot of the light scouts only have 3 hold points, one structure point. So yeah, light mech. So if you hit them with a big mech, they're dead. But they're quite hard to hit. So it ends up being, there's no point having 3 hold points, because it is you're dead or you're not. Whereas if you with this way, you can make it really hard to hit, so they can get 1 hit of your 6 in. because you've rolled that 5 and a 6 that you need to get them, and the rest of all missed. No, it's a good little mod. Good game. Yeah, Alpha Strike. And then, more Necromunda on Monday. Hooray!
Cool. All right. On to an officer answers then, I guess.
That's what I was looking up before you started getting me ranting about Battletech. Here we go. So, from our Discord and our Patreons, Mr. Mike Robinson asks, what is the best World War II TV show, and why is it Hogan's Heroes? Because Hogan's Heroes is better than Band of Brothers for some reason. I don't see his logic there.
I don't.
No, I think
seen...
clearly the best World War II series is actually Dad's Army of Darkness. So it's a
Dad's Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
What?
It's where you mash up Army of Darkness and
with Dad's Army. Don't panic! Don't panic!
We're doomed.
Boom, baby.
Yeah. Doomed.
My boomstick.
We're doomed. Did you know it was in the old empty barn?
Yeah, I don't. Are there many World War II TV series?
There's been quite a few, but
Black
they are
Rats,
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep. Sorry, yeah. Was there a desert? There's a desert one.
Oh, the SAS one.
There's the new SAS.
Rogue Heroes.
Rogue Heroes, which we're 2-3 episodes in, and as long as you're not watching it with, it's a fun thing. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not a historical reenactment by any length of the imagination.
Hmm.
Oh, why can't we have that? Why can't we have one that's both fun and is also historically correct?
Because it's like saying, why can't we have fun videos of knee surgery? It's not fun.
What, the history's not fun?
What part of killing Nazis is not fun?
The bit where they win most of the time.
The Nazis?
And
What?
the bit where they're not all Nazis, they're just some poor 17-year-old kid who thought he was doing the right thing. It's the nuance. The nuance isn't fun, Lee, and that's the point. And that is what SAS Rogue Heroes is. It's SAS history without any nuance.
But is it history? Because I heard Paddy Mayne is some swearing alcoholic, and he was teetotal and basically never swore.
Yeah, but there's a guy called Paddy Mayne, and he's in the formation of the SAS in the desert. That's historical enough for most things.
Oh my god! Right, okay.
It's shades of history.
Is it sharp?
I don't think it's quite that bad, because Sharp didn't actually exist, did he?
No.
Whereas Paddy Mayne did.
And I'm pretty sure that there was no riflemen at the Battle of Copenhagen, for example.
Are you Rifleman Harris?
No.
Have you? In the Annuals of History, WWPD, in one of the very first early episodes, had Rifleman Harris was at one of their War Games expos. They did a live episode with him, and they had no idea who he was or what he'd done
with his curly hair.
Yes, and he tried to send him an autographed picture for $25.
And they didn't know who he was.
No, we're good. We don't know who you are.
Oh no!
When worlds collide. Best World War II TV show. It's not Hogan's Heroes. I'm sorry, Mike.
Is it MASH?
No,
it's Korean.
There's Korean War first.
I know, but it's still
an analogy for Vietnam War. So
yeah, exactly. You're going further away from.
I don't think there are any.
I am tempted to say the Pacific.
Really?
Yes. How many times have you watched the Pacific?
Never.
Once.
Right. Watch it at least twice.
Do I have to? Because I barely managed to get through the first time.
No, do it.
Ooh, sounds like a lot of work.
Stop watching it through the lens of Band of Brothers and watch it through the lens of the Pacific Campaign told from boots on the ground perspective. Because I did the same thing the first time I watched it, and I got totally lost, and I was like, "Oh, this is rubbish. This isn't Band of Brothers," but it isn't Band of Brothers. But it's because there is no Band of Brothers and the Pacific Front. There is no one unit that went from start to finish for the campaign because it was that mad.
Mm-hmm.
But it is.
I get why you don't have like a consistent set of characters. I just didn't find it that engaging as a story. But yeah, so I've always struggled with the Pacific as a campaign to get interested in. So
That's because it was all kind of pointless.
well, yeah,
it's mad. The more I learn about it, the more I'm like, okay, that's mad. That's also mad. This is wait, more madness. Oh, okay. Submarine
well,
commander
the war in
goes.
Europe is basically the roosters coming home from the Treaty of Versailles. Whereas
Yeah.
the war in the Pacific is really, imperialism Mark II, as it were. It's just like,
Yeah, but it's also the way that it's like, we're going to do this island hopping campaign. Great, cool. All right, so why did he Guadalcanal? For air bases. Oh, no, wait, we've got B-29s now. We don't really need it.
well, they didn't have enough B-29s. That's why they did kind of need it.
Yeah, but they didn't need. By the time they captured it, they're like, "Cool, we've done this. It cost us this many thousands of lives. Great. Well, now we've got lots of B-29s, and actually, we don't actually need this airfield anymore. We probably could have just bypassed it. Sorry, it's crazy, and it's like, no, we're going to the Marshall Islands. Are we? So we're going back to the Philippines. Are we? Why are we going to the Philippines?
Oh, because MacArthur said so.
Exactly. It's insane.
Had a chip to bear on that.
I made a promise. Did you really? Very good. But I'm sorry, but all of these lives aren't worth your promise.
No, but you had a hat. You had a Filipino Field Marshal's hat. You don't
And
understand.
a cornpipe.
Yeah.
You can't, and sunglasses. I mean, it's a powerful combination. I'm not denying.
Exactly.
But...
Well, Eisenhower once said that he studied dramatics at the knee of MacArthur for 4 years.
And after that, they did some studying? I don't know.
Well, no, after that, he left and took over command of big important things in Western Europe.
In Western Europe, yeah. No, it's just insane. The whole thing is mad. And obviously being European-centric, as we naturally are, it's one of those things that growing up didn't interest me at all. And much like the Eastern Front, it's like, that's all the way over there. Who cares? And then you kind of grow into the exposure of it and get more into... You get the broad strokes, and then you get the broad popularist strokes, shall we say. And then as time develops and new stories come out, and you broaden your reading and learning in different sources and different perspectives, and then it kind of grows and develops into more of a again, nuance. Who am I?
I just thought of the best World War II TV program.
Do it.
Hello, hello.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Winner.
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's got the comic genius to have a Frenchman who can't speak English properly in it. I mean, I was pissing by the window.
It's an Englishman who can't speak French properly, but yes.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, wrong.
I was pissing by.
Yeah.
And I noticed. Good morning.
Yeah. The full Madonna with the big boobies by Van Klopp.
The big boobies.
Yeah. And a tank. And the Italian, for some reason, he was there as well. I'm not sure why he was in France, but he kept going around going, "You're a beautiful lady. I love you very much."
Wasn't it? No one
knew it was there.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Question answered.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Funny, I'd have thought that.
Daryl Noonan says, so finally watched A Bridge Too Far in 2023.
Good Lord.
Wow. That's impressive. Again, being British, European-centric, where A Bridge Too Far seemed to be on every other weekend. It was either that or The Great Escape.
Or Zulu. Yeah,
or Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like it.
Those Blaze spears at me.
Yep. He never says it.
Steady, lad.
Damn,
steady.
That's odd. All right, then. Nobody told you to stop working.
Of heart.
My dad is in South Africa at the moment and has been to both Isandlwana and Rorke's Drift. And I didn't give him the pleasure. Yeah. And I didn't give him the pleasure, but I'm very jealous. Very, very jealous.
Rorke's Drift's tiny as well.
Yes, and the hills are, compared to the site they used for the movie, the hills are incredibly close, which actually makes more sense if you have untrained people plinking away with
not from 800
Martini
yards
Henry
away.
rifles. Yeah, they're not shooting 1,000 yards proper, aimed shots. They're plinking away with 45 caliber Martini Henrys with paper cartridges. But no, awesome. Daryl Noonan has finally watched A Bridge Too Far. Great movie, but gotta ask a couple questions.
Yep.
Was General Browning as much of a douche canoe as the actor portrayed him?
No.
Okay.
Boy, Boy Browning had
Browning gets a massive hit job in that film.
but he's still a bit of a.
Was
knob,
it
isn't
Browning or was it General Browning?
he? He's from Barcelona.
It's the Gene Hackman Polish accent scored of Academy.
Yeah,
General Browning.
Rope.
but he was. I thought he was a bit of a. He was a bit of a. Bit of a knob, wasn't he?
Well,
No, I
Daryl
don't
thinks
think
that
so.
Sean Connery was going to punch him in the face at the end.
We probably should have done this. Sean Connery is an angry man.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, Lee. Look, what's your assessment? Come on. I can hear the tutting.
There's stuff about to come through before he comes with an actual answer.
Yeah.
My perception was the fact that all of the stuff about the landing site was that's what they chose.
Yeah.
Everyone said it was a good idea. It wasn't just like we should land here. It's like no, we should all land there. It's a great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah. And they didn't have the lift capacity to bring everyone in one go.
Exactly.
So, yeah, is it ideal that they had to do multiple waves? No. Did they have the aircraft to do it in one go? No.
do they have carefully trained assault gliders that can land and assault straight away in that quantity in the middle of a town? No. Anyway, Lee, dissuade us.
Well, none of your points you made there are incorrect. You're absolutely right. Though they probably should have been using the gliders to capture the earlier bridges where the terrain suited it and help the Americans out.
Okay. So do like a coup de main on the smaller ones.
Yeah, the southern end of Ireland Bridge, you probably could have done with a coup de main. And certainly they could have tried going for the rail bridge to get the rail bridge earlier, whilst it gets blown up and take out the equation.
Mm.
But no, what the film really gets wrong is the role of Gavin and how he botches basically their capture of Nijmegen by focusing on Goosebrook Heights at the expense of actually capturing the Nijmegen Bridge.
Oh, interesting.
They take too long of basically securing their position at the heights.
Yeah.
And then by the time they get to the bridge, obviously the SS have worked out what's going on, have dug in.
Yeah.
And then obviously that then slows down, and that slows down the capture of it, which then slows down the guards from going across, allows the Germans to send down a bunch of Tigers, which intercept their guards and stop them ever reaching.
That's mad.
Everyone gives Gavin a pass, and obviously it's an American film, so it's never going to bring it up.
Jim Gavin. Yeah. What did Jim Gavin do? What did Jim Gavin do?
He didn't capture Nijmegen. Well, you're not listening.
Harsh. Yeah, but it's a bit harsh.
Well, that was his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was 30 Corps' job to get to Arnhem Bridge.
Shock horror, Duncan. War's a bit harsh.
Oh. Honestly.
Unforgiving, shall we say.
God, I'd hate to be anyone that works for you in terms of their annual assessment or anything like that. Tried hard.
Do the one thing they're meant to do. It just seems like overly harsh.
You had one job. And the war wasn't over by Christmas.
Actually, it's worse than that. You had two jobs, and you only did one of them. They captured Gravebridge. They didn't capture Nijmegen Bridge.
50% success rate.
That's pretty good.
Daryl does go on to say, that being said, can I use a German Leopard 1 in Flames of War as long as it has some sheet metal attached to make it kind of, if you squint with your eyes almost totally closed from across the room, look like a panther?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
After all, when someone says, why are you using a Leopard 1 in Flames of War? You can honestly tell them, sir, I think you are mistaken. Those are German Panthers from a bridge too far.
Just
it's like the person who did like the Battle of the Bulge German army using all the Vietnam American tanks.
Yeah,
that's what
their patterns.
Genius, you mean?
Yeah, as Tiger 2s.
Yeah.
Amazing. I would say, Daryl, you could do that. However, you would legally contract your opponent to shout, bring up the Piat!
Yep.
Well, do it anyway.
Or you do that every time.
We'd like to talk about surrender.
I'm terribly sorry. We can't take your surrender right now.
Yeah.
All operators are busy.
Yes. Oh, good film. I want to watch it again. It's
an excellent
5.5 years long, though.
Do you know what? I watched it with my daughter, and the only bit she remembers was who's the guy that is monochrome Ross's dad in Friends?
Oh, yes.
I can't think of it. But it was something like, have you ever... I can't remember what the exact line is, but it's like, have you ever done something? And he's like, no, but I've been divorced twice. Oh, have you ever seen combat? And he's like, no, I've been divorced twice. And that's the only bit she remembers.
Chops on a cigar, starts shooting people.
Exactly. Yep. It's the way forward.
On a Roll and a Prayer Gaming asks, what are your thoughts, gentlemen, on the new Firestorm Market Garden campaign?
Is there a Firestorm Market Garden campaign?
It came out. Yeah, it came
released,
out with the Bulge British release.
Is it the same as the old one?
I don't know. I think it's a mix.
Yeah, I think they tweaked how Firestorm works to fit version 4, but I don't. Okay. See, that's the thing I don't know because I've got the original. I felt no need to go out and buy.
Oh, you got the original?
I have the original. Yeah,
it's Lee's mentioned that before. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
he's not coy about it, Eddie.
Well, I know. I just teasing it out of it some more.
Oh,
we once ran a campaign at the Brighton Warlords, and it was apparently all the German players sucked, so it was a real pushover for the Allies.
Did they suck, or was it more just that the German armies at the time?
Well, probably. I was a German commander. It just felt like my guys just weren't being caged. Like,
just blaming your frontline generals. It's all their fault. The bloody idiots. All they had to do. They had one job. They had 2 jobs. Okay, they had 3 jobs. Well, all right, they had 17 jobs, but they didn't do any of them.
They had nothing to do it with. Yeah,
it's nothing to do with me. I see. Firestorm Market for us at the moment, I think, very much falls into the same trap as the missions from the books.
Is it a trap?
Take a shot.
It's one of the things that we'll get round to, but it's the cult of the new keeps us focused.
I think the other thing is you have to play them with. They're better sometimes played in a group in a shorter period of time. I think as well.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, definitely is a bigger group than what we have, but I think it's one of those things where you'll probably do. You know, like you say, it'll probably be better that we set a week up and we do 3 game nights.
What we should do is a coordinated effort between the Guildford Club, the Crawley Club, and the Bar.
Oh, yeah,
that would be epic.
Well, each
Firestorm South England
takes a group.
Firestorm somewhere in the south of England.
Right, put it on the whiteboard.
Right, that's going on the board. There we go.
Do you have a whiteboard?
We've got a metaphysical whiteboard.
We should have a whiteboard, like a Trello board.
Yeah, but that's a Trello board. That's better than a whiteboard.
Is Trello board on the podcast bingo?
No, it shouldn't be, but it should. God, I love Trello. Trello is my life.
Oh God,
you'd be surprised. Harry Solid Cat asks, "Going to throw my hat into an officer's answers. Ow! Oh, it hit me in the eye.
Again.
Yeah, again. I wasn't wearing my glasses. Now that the British Bulge book has been out for a couple of months, do you guys feel there's anything that should have really been included, including command card options? Personally, I feel a bit disappointed there is no way to upgrade the airborne 17-pounders to AT-15 for D-Day Paras, although this may be for a historical reason.
Oh, Lee's triggered.
I also felt the Glider Pilot Squadron should have been a command card or included more grey support boxes.
I think Glider Pilot Squadron was a command card. Oh no! Sorry, that's what you're saying. Yeah, it's a formation in the book.
It's a formation in the book, not a command card.
But it's a formation that has very little going for it and could be. It was one of the ones where it could.
It's almost like a load of pilots with submachine guns.
Yeah, I find the glide pilots a little bit compared to how they were in version 3, where they could do like everything. In this one, they're just like just paras and body armor.
Well, most of them are drunk anyway. So
what?
Most glider pilots.
Is this the ones you hang out with, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is there anything...
I get what he's saying about...
The airborne 17-pounders.
Yeah, because the problem we got is the airborne lists in the book are very Arnhem-focused, which is great. Unfortunately, there's this whole other bit called Oosterbeek, which is going on.
Yeah.
Which had the APDS rounds, and you should have been like a... I agree. It should be the cards.
What is the difference? So here's the thing.
I think 15 versus 14. I know.
Correct. However, here's the thing. Yes, they're not labelled as airborne. Airborne 17-pounders. What's the difference between using the British Bulge 17-pounder support?
Fearless.
Yeah.
Okay. How often does that come up?
You know when it comes up, you'll know about it.
I guess, but you use your airborne models And if you really want that AT-15, sorry, you just use the bulge card because yes, you're not fearless. You're fearless overconfident.
Why wasn't it just a command card upgrade then?
Yeah, you know what the cost. You know what the cost delta is between a £17 D-Day.
I mean, that's the thing. If you wanted to do that, but to be honest, most of the time you don't really want to pay for the fearless on your £17 because they're hideously expensive anyway.
But it's correct, Eddie. It's technically correct.
Yes, no,
the
I
best
know,
kind of
technically
correct. The best kind of correct.
I know it's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. Duncan. Yep. I'm just saying it's an option.
It is an
option. Other command cards I wish 6 AARR were in there so I could have my little locust tanks.
There you go.
Tetrarch.
I was going to say Tetrarchs.
And also paratroop Daimlers, but like you say, you can just use normal Daimlers for that.
You can. Paratroop Daimler.
Oh yeah, well, I'd really like them to go back to D-Day and put the Blade Tetrarch in, so I could actually use the ones. That's what I was saying the other day. Though you could use for Daimler armored cars, Recce Squadron. Right. You can have an all Daimler armored car platoon, which is now basically it's all intents and purposes the same as a Tetrarch. And when you get down to it, apart from ability.
Yeah.
What else is missing? I don't think there's anything really missing, was there? Just thinking back to V3 and stuff like that was in the late war British book.
SAS as a formation rather than just as a couple of units. Because I got quite a lot of SAS Jeeps. Option dismount for para Jeeps.
Paratoes.
Paratos, yeah.
Paratoes.
The Polston gun.
Yeah, the Jeep. There used to be able to have Jeep 6-pounder tows for your 6-pounders.
D-Day, I think there is, but
no, they're universal carriers.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
And then
so yeah, you can do with them, but they end up being Armour 110, which is a bit weird. Yep. You're like Jeeps are anything but armored.
Hold on. And how many points is that?
It's a single point.
How is that a single point?
Because they're not sprint wagons, Dunk.
Oh my god!
Not amphibious. They can't float.
Yeah.
And you can't fire from them, but yeah, no, I would like. Yeah, there's a lot of niceties in there, but I think for the sake of gameplay, most of it's there. And if you want to go into the extra details, it's not ideal, but there are ways to do it. Whereas thinking back to version 3 times, yes, you had everything listed out, but then it also meant that the books were twice as big and therefore twice as expensive for stuff that you never used.
I had zero problems with that.
Yeah, I know you do, Lee, but that's because you're.
I like having a big book.
You like having a big book and being a completionist.
Do away with the books altogether and just put all the points on their forces.
Well, that is, but then that misses something out from the midway that we've got right now. I think version 4 is a nice sweet point, personally. It's a nice mix of book, card, command card, and forces. It gives you the best to cherry pick what you want. And yes, it doesn't give you a prescribed way, but the trouble is, as soon as you get too prescriptive with things, someone finds a thing to recreational outrage about.
What, like ram tanks?
Like everyone. Yeah, there's always something.
Like ram tanks.
Like ram tanks. Daryl Noon asks again, gentlemen, do you have or have you built your armies or units with specific focus? The Flandersturm. I mean, for example, do you build a T-72 kit with a specific nation in mind, i.e. East German, to include decals, or do you ever build them as a unit that can be used in multiple armies?
Yes.
Always. I am extremely short-sighted when it comes to building my armies. And this is this, and I will do this, and that will be it. And then they get half painted, and then end up being used for everything as you described.
See, for me, it's a combination of super detailed and then also massively generic. So I've got, like, my Soviets are massively generic. There's no markings on anything because I want to use them as any Warsaw Pact force, basically.
Yeah.
But then I've got my 21st Panzer stuff, which is all. I know it's specific anyway, but it's like no. Also, there's 3 platoons in each Panzer Grenadier unit and things like that, and all the right
See,
details.
I'm more of a hybrid. Most of my armies are built to a focus. But with my Team Yankee Warsaw Pact, I did pretty much like Duncan did. Some stuff is very specific, but the support units, like the geckos, the carnations,
Yep.
the shulkers, the stuff that's used by quite a lot of things, is very,
Multi-purpose.
generic in its markings.
Okay. I'm kind of opposite because I'm just for my Warsaw Pact, it's Polish. You know, I'm a sucker for a checkerboard. What can I say?
It's a nice decal.
It is good. I'm looking forward to getting them done on Friday. Carl Stockperson asks, very niche question, what is your favourite military watch?
Black Watch.
Yep, Black Watch.
Which normally someone beat me to in the actual response to that question. Which is
Oh,
quite
no.
annoying,
Really?
I thought straight away when about a day later they answered. I said, "What? That's been my joke. That's my entire joke."
That's it. Kick me on the Patreon.
I don't really
Keep the
do
money.
watches.
Yeah. There's was it Leico? The German Luftwaffe company. It's still going. So you can get the 1930s style aviator watches. Which are
What's
pretty,
the one with the calculator on?
Casio.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's probably been used by some military services
Yeah.
somewhere.
1980s Transformer watch. There
The
you go.
Belize Army, yeah.
Interestingly, during the 80s, not the calculator Casio, but the digital Casio.
What, the keyboard?
No, the one before the basic one that doesn't have a keyboard. It's a Casio digital watch with the alarm. Used to be on certain watch lists if you're buying quantities of them.
Why?
Because it was considered the cheapest triggering timing device. Because you just rewire the alarm speaker to be the detonator, and then off you go.
What, cheaper than a giant clock with a big bell on the top of it?
Yeah, this is my retirement present.
Yeah. It's
Pop
outrageous.
quiz, hotshot.
It's outrageous.
Nice. Yeah. That and Mercury switches, of course. Don't ask me how I know that. Darren Hart asks, how do we make the Kursk and Stalingrad starters into reasonable starter armies? What do we need to add, subtract to make them work?
I've done some lists on all of these.
Have you?
Yeah. I got bored.
Is it just multiple sets of the starter?
No, because some of them are weird.
Right.
Peterson.
So the Kursk one is the tanks, isn't it? And Stalingrad's the infantry.
Yeah.
So the Kursk one is for the Germans as a hot coal is to the groin. It's not very good because it's got 2 Panzer IIIs, 2 Panzer IVs, 2 Panthers, and a Tiger, I think.
Yak Tiger. It's the Yak Tiger.
A Yak Tiger?
Which was the Yak Tiger?
Well, for
no,
mid-war.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Don't I?
No, yeah.
Spoilers.
I was saying, oh my God, how did I miss that? So for that's a bit weird because the first thing you do with that is take the Panthers and the Tiger and throw them into your late war bin because you can't run them in mid-war. They're just way too expensive. There is a formation that does it, but you end up with a formation that's so incredibly brittle that you just, what's the point? So I think on that you have to focus on the Panzer 3s and 4s. Probably 3s, do you think, Lee?
Freeze. In
mid-war.
mid-war. Mind you, with the new revised points, it does make the 4 slightly more viable.
Mm. I mean, you got 2 of them, so you can use it, but it's just a bit of a weird
you do the
one.
mixed Panzer platoon. We had you had the 4s mixed in with the 3s.
Exactly, that's what I went for. I'm just trying to find the list now. Oh, hold on, they changed force, don't they? So mid-war's at the bottom.
Yeah, I've been trying to ignore the new Kursk and Stalingrad starters because I have too many toys already.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good.
So the Kursk starter, here we go. So, yeah, I went mixed Panzer. So you've got a 4 and a 3 in the command. 3 Panzer threes, 3 Panzer threes, and then 4 Flam Panzer threes. So I think you have to buy a box or 2 of Panzer threes, and then it's some Recce, and then 3 in the Panzer ones. Because you don't need artillery because you've got 4 Flam Panzer threes, and your assault unit is the Panzer ones. And they just trundle over and go, yeah. What are you going to do? You've got side armor 7. Yeah. We crush you beneath our tracks. So that's not bad, but that's mostly, again, what I don't like about the Kursk one is you're taking half the tanks basically and then going, I'll keep them for later.
Yeah.
The Stalingrad German one, that was a bit easier because the Panzer Grenadiers are quite expensive in mid-war.
Yeah, because they're good.
They are good. And I think you just fill it out with more 5cm guns. You take the short 37s that are in the box and turn them into Nebelwerfers. You buy some 88s.
It's all the same sprue.
It's all the same sprue. So I think the Nebelwerfers are actually useful.
If you're playing defensive, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got an all... I did a 100-point all-infantry force. So it's got 2 units of 5cm guns and the 7.5 infantry guns and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's quite chubby. And then the HS 129 battle flight. So take them as
with machine guns.
No, the HS it comes with a 20mm cannon.
Yeah, because they haven't done the big cannon yet. They've done because it came with machine guns, came with 20mm cannon, and then they've got one
or 30mm cannon. It's a 30mm cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they have the Pack 40 one.
Yes. But I want that back.
The 3cm one is quite useful in mid-war because it's got a rate of fire 3, so you get 6 shots from the 2 planes.
It's a very, very, very quick aviation-related divergence. So the 75mm on the Chaffee, was developed from the 75mm cannon fitted to the P25.
Yeah, that's where because it's a low recoil mechanism.
A low recoil automatic 75mm cannon from an aircraft. They're like, we'll put that in a tank.
Not the other way around.
I love B-25s. Anyway, sorry, that was my little divergence. 75mm cannon on airplanes.
That's fine. I was going to say, what I might do is I might write those up and just go, because I've got to work out. I didn't work out what the additional box sets you need either. So what's the most economical way of getting them? Like I said, weirdly, I don't think it's a second box. Normally that's the answer to most stuff.
Normally that is the answer, yeah.
But I think with both, because they're orientated.
Just hit the beach. What do I buy?
Another hit the beach.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think because, you don't want the extra infantry if you buy Stalingrad again, for example.
Well, you do, because you paint them in winter colours.
Yeah, but you end up with a load of... maybe. Maybe if you're doing
Soviets
an entire
winter army. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
There's a hobby hardcore answer, and then there's the...
Then there's the not the what are you doing answer. What are you doing?
But the point... it's just the pricing's so competitive.
Well, it kind
compared to anything else. Yeah, buy a second starter, paint it, sell it for twice the price of what you bought it for, and then you'll have enough money to buy the other things.
Yeah, well, you could do that certainly with the Kursk one. Take the Panthers, paint them up, get rid of them, buy the Panzer threes that you actually want.
Laugh all the way to the bank.
Still don't get how you use Panthers in mid-war.
Well, that kind of leads me on to the next question from Porky7, who says, "Dynamic points. What is the point? I read this long-winded explanation on the Flames of War website. Come on to that in a second.
Oh, no.
I still have no clue what it's about. That's because the long-winded explanation was tosh." I'll come back. A tank has a certain number of points attached to it. Now they are going to change this. Also, I think related to the discussion, what is bun? I hesitate to ask, but I like living dangerously. By the way, happy 2023, everyone. Happy 2023, Porky. Yeah. Wishing you lots more disastrous battles so you have an excuse to buy more minis. As we all know, he or she or they who die with the most toys wins. Excellent. Oh my
You're
gosh!
practically immortal.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm invincible. The frozen carbonite comes down,
Yeah.
and then that's the end of old Boris. Dynamic points. What is the point? Dynamic points are the simple fact that nobody plays with Panthers because they don't work.
It's because the
Well,
points
probably
matrix
not
is
playing with any medium tank. It almost got to. That was a real
It almost
problem.
got to the point where, yeah. So I can only empathise with how hard it must be to get a game system to be balanced and work where any force, any list has a reasonable chance against any list or any formation
I don't think
at
it's
most
possible.
point levels across the variety of boards around the world. And I firmly believe that half of the problem, for Flames of War at least, is because it is so intrinsically linked to the terrain and the board you're playing on.
But making modders so comically cheap is probably not a great starting position.
No.
No, it's not. However, that
But I do
said,
accept the rest of your position, yes.
yeah, that and that's an example where it's like that is an obvious oversight
Yeah.
where it's gone slightly wrong. But Marder's being comically cheap on an open battlefield where it's, you know, they have nowhere to hide. They have no good fire positions because it is that, you know, billiard table thing, and any decently armored tank can run up and kill them without thinking about it. Or having Marders so comically cheap on a really intense Bocage battlefield style where there are no open lines of sight,
Mhm.
and actually everyone brings aeroplanes, so they just get strafed to death in the turn one. You know, there's two outliers to that.
Yeah, but
The trouble is, the Marders weren't pointed correctly for the, you know, the middle of the bell curve games,
Yeah.
which meant that they became what is an auto include. And that is in games design. Nothing should be an automatic decision.
Correct.
Nothing should be, I'm buying this because if I don't buy it, it's silly.
There should be no no-brainers.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's like with heavy weapons in Necromunda, it's the same thing with the move and fire suspensors. They've got the same problem. It's like, yep, I'll buy that. Without that, it's pointless. And the dynamic points is just acknowledging the fact that once things go out into the real world, there will be, you know, a slightly better, more efficient, harder to beat list over others. So we saw that in Mid-War, especially because Mid-War was the first time they'd done the 100-point scale thing, with the armored car and was it L36?
L6.
The L6 Italian light car spam with Marders, and it had, you know, so many tanks on the board, so many tank units on the board, such a big swarm, totally ahistorical, but was incredibly hard to beat because it had answer to most things.
But
The infantry,
even in your example about the billiard board, you'd still take the Marders because the 4-up save, just they're still better than a medium tank, which is crackers. But yeah, the points are the points. I don't really care about living points because, like I said, I don't think it's possible to create a perfectly balanced game anyway. So you're always going to have to accept there's some wonky bits, there's some bits that are better than other bits, and it's where they are.
But then that's your prerogative as your friends and your game thing. So there is the other discussion because and the whole thing. Interestingly enough, it comes all back to nuance. The whole thing comes back to what is your where are you playing your games? What is your hobby environment, shall we say?
Well, I'm super competitive and I only want to play to win. So,
well, totally. I mean, you are just totally broken.
Yeah.
In that respect. So you'll appreciate. I mean, I'm trying to turn it down for the podcast, Duncan. Can you just stop with the Alpha Strike lists? I mean,
well, and also the corralling with M18s. Anything to get the win. Now.
Just because it doesn't say you can't take the pattern card 3 times doesn't mean you should, Dunk. You know.
Yeah.
No. So, in your hobby environment, there are ways, you know, and most social contracts will find a way to balance these things out, and it's not a problem, and that is exactly fine because like us with the T-34s in Fate of a Nation, I started collecting them thinking I love using obsolete kit
Mm-hmm.
in the wrong era, and
Yep.
it was a hobby challenge, so I did the full 31 T-34 company, and in the scale of games we were playing, we rapidly discovered it was broken because there's no way you
Yeah.
can kill that many tanks, and there's
There's
no
no
way.
way three McGacks could take out
Yep.
that many. Yeah. Could
No
take
matter
out
the size of the
20
board
T-34s,
or
yeah.
what we were doing, no matter how hard we tried, it always, unless I intentionally threw a game, which obviously isn't fair to the game, it wasn't going to be fun. Well, it was fun twice, and then it was like, no, Lee looks really upset, and I've run out of money to keep buying him coffees to keep him happy. So, okay, or beers rather, dice.
Especially, the beers option.
There's only so many times that I can pick him up, take him to the game centre, smash his face in, buy him a beer, drive him home. So I stopped. I sold them. I'm like, that's it. I'll keep 10 because I like, that scratches my itch of having that one platoon of 10, which is still quite competitive at a point a tank, as it is for them, but it's not game breaking like 31 of them is, or even multiple formations. So the problem happens with the game that's designed to be out, a fun, enjoyable game. When you have someone who isn't in your hobby group that you're playing with, you meet that stranger. It's that pickup game. That pickup game, you should be able to bring 100 points of A list. Your opponent bring 100 points of A list. And yes, there will be differences in the construction, and that is a whole element of the war game, is the list construction and how you use your list and all that kind of stuff. But there shouldn't be one list that always gets taken because it's obviously patently better than anything else. And that is what becomes the broken list. Now, it's interesting because it is a matter of perspective, and it ties into a whole lot of other things. And that's why a lot of arguments come about, is because people play on different style boards in different, there's different terrain setups, so different ways of, mission selection and stuff like that ends up skewing the view of what is the obviously better list. But there are some things that time and time again come out as actually, they got this bit wrong for one reason or another.
It's not wrong necessarily. It's like we perceive that they overvalue some things over another.
Yeah,
like speed is one always thing that seems.
But if they're overvaluing, that's a wrong assessment. But that's always been the problem. The problem is, who wants to admit that what they've released in the world and charge people to buy is wrong? No one does. No one likes admitting they made a mistake. It's a just culture. You just get fired.
But from a consumer perspective,
yeah,
would that stop you buying it again? If they came out and said we got
what
the
it
points
could
wrong?
do,
Yeah,
because we're in the position that we love Flames of War, and we will change and adapt.
We are complete shills for this.
Exactly. Well, we are, because we're heavily invested. And if it all goes
much investment,
so much,
crippling. Some might say.
I'm never going to financially recover from this
debilitating investment.
No, we are, but then at the same time, as a hobby, it is one hobby amongst a myriad of others, and to have enough casual players coming in and getting introduced and enjoying that first thing, if you always came along and go, oh, I've just bought my starter army, and you play against the 3 veteran guys in the club who have all got armored cars and L6s, and go, well, I just bought my Shermans because I thought Shermans were a pretty cool tank, and I've just got my face smashed in, you're going to very quickly stop playing. Because, you don't have that investment. You go, oh, there's another game over here, I'll go play that instead. What is this? This doesn't represent the World War II hobby, because between these two players, they've got more L6s than actually were served in the war. Yeah. Because they're the patently best selection at the moment in the quote-unquote meta. So, long rambling intro from my point of view. That is why dynamic points exist. It's to tweak the existing formula to promote more varied lists being predominant. You don't necessarily need it. You don't have to use them if you don't want. If you're not having a problem, that's it. You just don't bother. But if you do, you can go into Forces of War, go into the options, click a little button, and it will tweak the points value of things. For competitive players, it shakes things on their heads without having to adjust the 100 points limit. So, or have other restrictions on what you can and can't take. So for the ETC, he says, tick that off your bingo cards, which is the European Team Championship. What it does is by having dynamic points, it means that the competitiveness it shakes things up, so it's a new puzzle for people to solve, whilst retaining the 100 point limit, which is important because 100 points makes a game size and a board size work. Because for every time that you adjust the points limits up or down, the board size should match it for a meaningful change. If you change it by 10 points, it's one less platoon, it's not a big thing, or one more platoon, it's not a real big thing. But if you start changing it by a meaningful impact, which is 25 to 30 points, then the board size starts to matter.
Right.
And that means that you come into a whole load of extra logistics inside the terrain and stuff, it whatever. But by just simply changing the core point system things, you can shake up the meta list building, which means that it's a new exciting puzzle to solve. It means that if that is what you want to be doing out there, you can, actually, KVs are really good. Or, no, wait, Shermans are really good. Excellent. I can now run the Sherman company that I've got and play with those toys more so without feeling that I'm going to get hamstrung by someone turning up with 300 armored cars that I can't possibly kill because those points are now too expensive. That's to me is what the dynamic points is trying to do. The issue we've got there is, obviously, Battlefront are new to this, so they are being very conservative with their first points change they've done. Because they want to change a little, see what happens, get some feedback.
Yeah, tweak
it again.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, when they've changed or nerfed a list, like the early war BAR, they issued stickers which you stuck in your book, which permanently changed the points forever, and they ruined that list. It was a complete, shotgun to the back of the head job, hatchet job. It made it so bad. No one ever played with them
what was
again.
Worse about that was just saying, this is overpowering, we'll nerf it. I hadn't won a single game with that list, Nathan. It's just like someone say, everyone else is winning this, why can't you?
Oh, Lee. Oh, boy. Right, so before Battlefront had started to do this, the Bun Shop Boys, who are the War Games Club centered around, or a group of war gamers,
Bun Shop guys, just to make sure the enunciation is correct on this bit.
Bravo, Uniform November.
There was some confusion last time.
Oh dear. Oh, interesting. That'll tickle them. Who are a great bunch of people who love the hobby intrinsically. You spend 2 hours talking to them and you'll realise that they live, bleed, breathe wargaming. Started the process of this because they wanted to see more medium tanks in mid-war.
Mm-hmm.
So they started doing their own points list. So that is the bun points you'll hear reference to. For whatever reason, Battlefront didn't you talk to them about their points or use their points, which I can understand from a commercial point of view in the gaming industry. It opens up a Pandora's box of potential litigation and other things like that, and influences and whatnot.
Intellectual property rights.
Yeah, exactly. It's the reason that most people don't open up unsolicited submissions of novels and books and movie scripts and things like that. It's the same reason as that. That way you can stop a whole load of nonsense. Not that obviously that would be a case in this instance because it's the niche world of wargaming and most people would bend over backwards just for a pat on the back. However, they have their own stuff which they've been played a couple of tournaments with and have tweaked some bits and pieces, and obviously have a wealth of knowledge of looking back at things that they've done in that ultra competitive balanced world of the European Team Championships environment. And it's not even that ultra competitive, that's the thing. It's only like Soren said, there's only like 5 or 6 teams who go with that mindset. The rest are there to play Flames of War and drink beer and have a good time in Belgium. which was pretty good. I'm so looking forward to it this summer. Um, so that is dynamic points from me. You guys got anything to counteract with? Dissent?
I am largely ambivalent.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't think I've got enough invested in caring about the points. Like I said, the points are the points. I don't think they're ever going to be right, and I don't think they're ever going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So you're just swapping slightly better ones for maybe slightly worse ones, maybe slightly better ones, and other stuff will get tweaked in the wrong direction. It's fine. It's just points. They are what they are. You use them.
I think, and I agree in that respect, in that I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect points limit. What I would like to see is the more competitive list being the ones that, because it's a historical wargame at the end of the day, are more representative of the history. So that you don't sit there having to go, well, we're playing competitively, so I want, I want my best chance of winning this game. So I have to take partisans supported by flame-throwing crocodiles with two lots of 17,
That's the
No,
thing.
but you do.
Do you?
For that competitive edge, yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Because it's patently obvious that when you put anything else up against that, you're sacrificing, that points competitive edge for historical accuracy. Because taking normal infantry over the resistance, you pay less points. They're already on the board. Yes, they have a slightly worse skill, but that doesn't matter because that's not what you're using them for. So an armoured car company supported by crocodiles and 17-pounders and, AVREs just becomes very tasty, which, shouldn't be over a Sherman company. A Sherman company should be able to do all that and a little bit more, in my opinion. But then that's the way it is. It ties in a little bit with Mike Robinson's question, saying, so with the ETC apparently thumbing their noses at Battlefront dynamic points and going with the latest bun points, does this kill future attempts by a Battlefront to adjust the points, since the community will continue to do their own? I do not believe so. I don't think the ETC has done that yet.
Okay. I was about to say, has ETC done that?
No, I think it's in a state of flux, as most things, because it's ruled by committee.
We'll know how it works.
It's a committee of captains who are voting on things as they come through. But I think it's at the moment they're looking to use the bun points because like I said before, the first point of the first attempt at dynamic points in Battlefront isn't enough. But
whereas
then
ETC has got some pedigree, yeah, and so Bunshot has got some pedigree.
But Bunshot's got some pedigree, so that's closer to what they want. If the second round of Battlefront changes beats the Bunshot changes, then no one has any skin in the game, and they'll just go, cool, excellent, we'll use those. But I think it's very pragmatic not to just automatically go, well, I know what Battlefront says, because it's Battlefront. They want to maintain the competitive fun that is the ETC. If that makes sense, they want to maintain that as they're very aware that they are considered to be the world championship. For those who don't know, the European Team Championships is only called European because it's hosted in Europe. It is open to everyone from around the world. This is why you play against Kiwis and Americans and things like that. But it's I think they're just looking to see what's going on. They're not thumbing their nose at it. It's just it's a thought out, as thought out and logical decision as a committee can come to. And I do hope that
that seems weird to me, though.
Why?
Well, why not just use the Battlefront ones?
Because they aren't as developed as the Bunshot ones at the moment.
Okay.
So why would you pick the lesser of two options?
Why use any points that the Battlefront have ever produced then?
Because that's not how things work, Dunk.
No, but I'm just saying, you might as well come up with completely your own points then, like for everything. What happened?
Well, that's Yeah, well, I mean, if it was terrible, they probably would do that, but it's not terrible. It's just that they wanted a bit of a tweak and a bit of a change for mid war, because last year we've had late war,
Yeah.
and they alternate between the two. If early war was a published game, they would be using early war, but the committee voted
No,
and said we want to use mid war. Yeah,
no, that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just thinking, well, why don't you just use the Battlefront? Battlefront have come up with some revised points. Why not just use them?
because there's a better system out there at the moment
Okay.
that they. If Battlefront hadn't done anything, they'd just be using Bunshop. But Battlefront had done something, and they reviewed the current Battlefront ones versus the Bunshop ones and gone, well, Bunshop are better at the moment. And then if Battlefront release another one and there's enough time that it doesn't mess up everyone's planning, they'll go, oh, excellent. Well, we'll review those two. We'll take a vote on it. And as the teams will vote for which list they use. It's very democratic. It's very, it is a lot of the stigma surrounding the ETC does seem to be from a particular period and a particular, set of players.
Yeah, me and Lee.
Yeah, you two just stirring it up. You put stripy T-shirt. We had Team France. That is it.
No, I'm not trying to be contrary. I'm just like they've released these. We play points for everything else. You played last year the late war points.
Yeah. I
just don't understand. I just thought it would be a natural progression. Otherwise, you're going to end up with Splinter stuff. Because what stops then someone, I don't know, saying that they want to run a different points value? I suppose they can.
They can, but everyone votes on it.
No. I'm just thinking of it generally.
I mean, but that is always the case. It's funny. I mean, when I worked for Games Workshop and they released the Apocalypse rules,
yeah,
it was almost as if people acted surprised, but then it was massive because for some reason people need permission to do what they want with their games, which is really weird. It's this weird thing of like you'll paint it however you want, but then you need a bit of paper that says you can take 20 tigers in your game, and you can do that. But the whole thing, with the ETC is it's supposed to be representative of the main hobby, and they're trying to do that the best they can. But at the same time, it's a huge investment. And I think that's where a lot of the stress and thing comes from. If you think about it, getting six people together to play a game for a weekend in another country, and then times that by the 100-odd teams that we had.
That country's Belgium.
Well, or anywhere in Europe. That's the thing. Anyone can host it, and then it's this huge communal investment in that weekend, and you want it to be the best that you can be. And if that involves, stopping, and the thing is, it's the best players in the world coming together, so they're going to ring these lists as much as they can, and end up going, oh, everyone's got this same list. Actually, that's okay. There's a problem there because we've all gone through the same process and ended up with the same result. Let's tweak it a little bit and see if we can make a genuine difference and make it a little bit more interesting. And that's all it is. It's because it's the outlier of the outlier in terms of, competitiveness. And like you say, for Dunk, it doesn't make much difference. And for us playing, I don't think it makes much difference really either. Because no matter what list Lee takes, he'll still roll ones.
Fair.
Duncan will remount an assault with a single stand and drive me off the objective. So it's interesting, and I think it is a large amount of not from you, Dunk, but from other people. A large amount of recreational outrage goes into it, and it just doesn't need that at the moment. But
no,
we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm just more excited for getting my Italian British Shermans on the board. Italy campaign. Although now I say that, I can't remember where they actually are.
Oh, God.
They are somewhere. Got Spitfires as well.
That's got to be on the bingo card.
Yeah,
Eddie loses an army, yeah.
Fez loses an army in storage. I don't know where it is anymore. On a roll and a prayer gaming says, here we go. What units do you consider unleave outable when making a tournament list? For me, it's crocodiles to deal with dug-in infantry. So I guess he's talking about late war, Flames of War, because taking crocodiles in Great War is a little bit harsh, and taking crocodiles in Team Yankee is not an advisable technique.
Oh, can you imagine if the Brits had actually worked out how to make a crocodile in early war in Great War? How much a game change that would have been?
Been terrifying.
Oh my god!
Um,
Right, Lee, what do you not leave home without?
Cheap recce, get a spearhead. If you can get a spearhead unit for less than 2 points or less, you got to throw it in there.
It's all about the spearhead.
It's only there for the spearhead. If you can do something else with it, great. And certainly if you're getting like a 3 or 4 point spearhead, it's got to be able to do something else other than be a spearhead unit.
Yeah.
Always try and make sure I've got at least one template that can drop smoke as well as HE, preferably 2.
Yeah.
Always try and have an infantry unit, though some armies I do actually just go all tanks, but always want to have at least one in there for combined arms.
Nice. Dunk, what about you?
I actually don't. I've stopped taking recce.
Interesting. Too many missions where you didn't need it, or
It's just it kind of. I never seem to get the full max out of it, and it's just.
is it a distraction from the main event?
It's just. Maybe it's the type of armies I play though as well, because if you don't need to get forward, then Spearhead's not really helping you do much else.
That's true.
Some way of digging out infantry and gun teams, so be that artillery or flamethrowers, is usually a good idea.
Well, you used your Soviet assault pioneers, didn't you?
The Storm Group, yeah.
They messed up my Nebs quite happily,
and that's it. Yeah, I think the crocodiles are popular because they're just hard to shift. You don't need artillery necessarily in that list because you've got some way of digging out infantry teams that's not that's not an artillery barrage, but yeah, an artillery barrage of some kind.
I do love the Averies for the simple fact they don't care if you're gone to ground or not.
Yes, same principle. They're just something to batter stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything else really that I think I've got to have. I guess some high-end AT of some kind, or some way to deal with really high armor.
Yeah, I mean that is the usual triangle, isn't it? Is templates, high AT.
It doesn't have to be a necessary high AT. It's just some way of dealing with heavy tanks.
And then an infantry, some form of infantry. If you have a building, you can get in and castle up in.
Yeah.
Or some form of area control, because that's the trouble that tanks have.
Yeah, they can't take anything.
Can't deny easily. You sit there and go, "Oh, you've been bailed." Well, you've stopped contesting that objective then, and now I win.
As I found out, okay.
And an assault unit. Something that's reasonably good at assaulting, because at some point you will have to assault some, to take an objective.
SS Tigers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or unless something really hard hitting, like Martin's assault sappers that hit on 2s or whatever it is.
Shudder.
Yeah, 28 stands hit on 2s. I think that's it, really.
That's it, yeah. And whatever makes you sit there and go, that looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And,
there's nothing better than putting a unit on the board and going, that looks awesome.
TOW missiles. Or Milan missiles, sorry.
Ribbit.
Yep.
Milan training missiles.
Milan training missiles, exactly. That's what you need. My new favourite unit.
Okay, boys. Well, that is the end.
Is that all the officer answers?
That is all the ones that I have in front of me. I think maybe.
No, it can't be because I got the ones off the Patreon page as well.
Wait, what? That was the ones.
No, because you haven't done battle raisers questions, stuff like that. That's all the ones off the Discord.
Oh, where am I looking?
It should be there. It should be the ones with
Oh,
the white background.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Our patrons have been very thorough in those questions, including the
have.
ones not
All
on
right.
Discord.
Well,
Deep
they've had a
breath.
lot of time off over Christmas to think about things, haven't they?
I was so excited. I thought, oh, I'm getting early night, but no, I'm
Nope.
going to have to go to work late tomorrow. Oh well, what a shame. Traffic between the bedroom and the kitchen table. Working
Yep.
from home, painting from home. Alex Graham, hello Alex, asks, after the Battlefront 2023 preview, there were some disinterested rumblings by an unnamed Lee host regarding Berlin. What additions could have been made to spice up this capital event, be it scenarios, units, or wild ideas? Does anyone care to take a Reich stab at it?
Right.
I feel a lot of that's going to have to wait to the book review. But
Fantastic.
Until that angry book review.
Well, I mean, I think for Lee, can I answer for you, Lee?
go for it.
Um,
I want to see what you say.
Can I put some words in your mouth, Lee?
Chieftains.
Like chieftains, yes.
Chieftains in Berlin camo. What was
Yeah,
it called?
I want my Berlin book, but I want it in Team Yankee. Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Yep. My Checkpoint Charlie.
I want my one buck recoilless guns. I want my little F432 with the fox turret on the front.
Saladins.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said on the last podcast, it's just Berlin holds very little interest for me. Just it's all over by then. It's just it is just literally how long do you want to hold? No, there's no relief.
But
that to me is the.
But Lee,
that is the
Clausewitz's army. Clausewitz's army's coming. Whatever his name is, the 11th Army.
Mein Führer, Schneider ist.
Yeah.
But that to me is the whole thing of it, though. That is the in version 3 I had enjoy the war. Enjoy the war because peace will be hell. And it's like at a human level, why would you? Other than you have no choice.
Well, I can tell you why
I hope you had a good time because now you're going to pay for it.
I can tell you why
it's the find out phase.
Held out. Yeah.
The mess around and find out to keep out. I mean, to me, and that there's this thing in the back of my head. There's always been a hobby project to recreate the area outside the Reichstag in a Flames of War board. Even though it would probably game-wise make more sense to do it in 28mm for the scale of the interactions going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then to do it in 28mm and do it justice, it would be so huge, it would take up the whole barn. Because it's such a big area.
Project.
Yeah, I know. When I say it out loud, I realise that some people will be like, oh.
Do you think we're going to get like Panther terms in the Berlin book?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be helpful for it.
They had a great fascination of putting everything on a single mount in the middle of the road, didn't they?
Yeah, but the issue I had with them before is that they were pretty rubbish.
Well, they'll still be pretty rubbish because Panthers are still pretty rubbish.
Well, no, the issue was that they just weren't very well armoured, and so they just got shot, and you're like, oh, okay.
What were they bad? What were they in version 3? Front armour?
I can't remember now.
The sides were still crap because it's a Panther turret. They're still crap from the sides.
That'd be quite nice though, because that would do for Italy.
Well, that's where they were from. That's where they were in version 3, weren't they? It was Italy.
Yeah, but they did have some knocking around.
I want my Mark IV. Oh my! If you're gonna put mouses in, you can give us a Mark IV, Pete.
Yeah,
and Panzer IIs. You can give me a Mark IV. Use as a machine gun bunker. That's all I want.
But do you notice, Hank?
What's that?
What?
Everything you're both saying is German.
Yeah.
It's like that's the problem. The Soviet book, because the one that's coming first, is just like
Hero IS.
Big old book
Hero IS. You take that back.
It is a big
version 3 at Warfare. One of the best games I've played was Hero IS2s with tank riders, bed spring armor, supported by, is it the 208mm?
203 1931.
203 self-propelled tracked gun that you could scout. You did the whole scouting thing where you had like a skill roll to see if you could infiltrate. And you could infiltrate these two massive guns up the board to try and direct fire with their bunker buster nonsense. It was absolutely hilarious to see people's faces when this gigantic gun snuck through no man's land. It's like, be very quiet. We're hunting fascists.
Yeah, it's not 33rd
Elbert-
SS though, is it? It's not Charlemagne.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's again German.
I know.
What are you going to do?
I'm just saying the Soviet stuff's a bit.
The Red Banner platoons. Oh no, it's so much. It's all about those. The Red Banner. I don't know if they're going to do any of the special rules that they had in version 3 with the Red Banner, where it was just like your team dies, there's another team next to it. They pick it up and they keep going, and it's just this whole mad rush of just utter carnage across the board. And it is, like you say, it's senseless because you could just stop and wait, and everything would fall apart anyway. But no, let's just throw more people in. Let's just keep going. You want to be the first person to put your flag on top of the Reichstag? Off you go. There's another 6 people after you, but hey, we'll see who wins. Someone to get it up there.
I mean, that's kind of a problem. But you basically on one side you got a maniacal dictator with fanatical troops and super tanks. On the other side you got the Nazis. It's just like,
but that is it. That is the sheer insanity of the situation. And that's, that's the reality of the end of war in Berlin. And I guess it doesn't suit everyone. Your mileage may vary, as they say. But for me, it leads to some very interesting street assaults.
the street barricade things were always quite cool. I must admit.
Oh, yeah, they were cool. They were cool models as well. So that is... maybe we'll get you into that. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But that's fine, Lee. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
Well, I sort of say it. I'm sure I'll play some games for it. It's just like...
Yeah. Cornelia Simone asks, when Battlefront restarts the dormant Vietnam, Great War, Fate of a Nation product lines, do you think there'd be a chance to update them? For example, have new kits, more plastic, new branding for box art? Or do you think they'll just be put into production, the previous kits are out of stock?
Yes.
Yes. Second one. And do you know what? That's fine.
Obviously, they're asking with stuff like Centurion, plastic Centurion coming, which will probably have a injection back into those ranges effectively.
Be still my beating heart.
Because Pete seemed to indicate that it was going to have all the options.
It should do, otherwise I'm going to buy a one-way ticket to New Zealand, and I won't incriminate myself anymore on a public available podcast. That plastic Centurion is the bomb, and it's the one thing I'm like, I need like 20 of those. Because they can do my Australians, and they can do my Checkpoint Charlie, and they can do my Arabs, and it's going to be so good. It'll be small numbers, made to order, I imagine, direct only, and that's fine. The original models, they don't need plastics if they can do them in metals, which I hope they will be. They're great. To be honest, even if they redid them as Sinocast, they'll probably still be good because in the last batch of Sinocast I got, it's getting good now, finally. They've got the mix between brittleness and flexibility to make good molds. Hopefully it'll be a good injection. I'm excited to get back into NARM. I've got my Great War stuff already to paint up. Fate of a Nation just needs finishing off. And it will just be more different, as an English phrase. What about you boys? Anything you excited to get back into?
I've got all the stuff I need for NARM. At some point, I'm going to go back and do an Arab Nation for Foan as well.
You got the stuff you need for NARM?
Sorry, Foan.
I was going to say, have you got NARM, Lee?
At some point, I'm going to get around to doing a Vietnam sapper unit for NARM, just so I can say I've got an MVA army.
Yes, join the dark side. Fortunate son intensifies.
The problem I've always had with NARM is not enough people do the actual NARM bit. Everyone's doing the Americans all the cool Gucci kit, and unfortunately, Vietnam always suffered by not having...
I've got my local forces battalion that is built, sat there waiting. I think I built that one in Doha when I was out there. Mm-hmm. But I just need to actually get it in the painting queue and remember where I've kept it. Cornelius goes on to say, do you think these games will have a chance to catch on in popularity and be expanded? As an example, Great War came and went at my local store and is now impossible to find, with Battlefront never adding to the range beyond late Western Front. Not immediately, is my answer.
I don't think you'll see any. Well, they're quite ring fence conflicts. So I
Yeah,
think what they've got. I don't
they've
think there's
done
too
pretty
much.
well.
Yeah.
I think just having the models available and having people start play them, hopefully will inspire them to keep going. But I don't think they'll revisit them in terms of adding extra stuff.
What could they add?
It's still, yeah, exactly.
Well, MO9s and VADs for these raids would be a really great start.
Could they do that with unit cards?
Yeah, of course you can.
Because
You
they've
can do
all got
anything.
cards. They've got cards for those games, right?
They got cards for the Israeli
They've
one.
They've all got card packs because they're all set in my cupboard thinking about it. So they could quite easily add a card pack for modern plastics that have been released to go back. Interesting. Maybe VADs in Great War, that might be overstepping a little bit.
Again, can you imagine a VAD system in the Great War?
Yeah, it's called
Just
a
like
machine gun battalion, isn't it?
At night, VADs at night through smoke. Jesus. We're out of bullets. Oh, crap.
What's that? The fucker menace? Bert.
Yeah.
Red Baron my ass. Yeah.
Matthew Davis asks, the 4th Dorsets liberated a Marai Tatum pole from a pub in Dorset and took it to Normandy. What? The 4th Dorsets liberated a Marai Tatum pole from a pub in Dorset and took it to Normandy. What would you guys take from a pub or other establishment, and what armies do you think would benefit from its morale-boosting presence?
Barmaids.
Oh, no, straight away. Do you remember there was that terror attack and the guys, there was 2 people that took a narwhal horn
A narwhal horn.
I would
a narwhal
100%.
horn off of the side of the pub.
Yeah,
Yep.
and go and take that and go, come on then. I mean, what would be more terrifying than having an underslung narwhal horn on your Sherman?
Follow the narwhal. Yeah, no, that beats it. That beats anything I can come up with right now. Narwhal. If in doubt, narwhal.
Narwhal horn. I mean, that's... Yeah, you know it's a bad day. When you're getting bayonet fenced with a narwhal horn.
Oh, great. They've got a narwhal.
Yeah, of course. I told Derek. I told him.
Battle Razia asks, I managed to convince / scam my in real life battalion commanding officers to join me in a game of Team Yankee.
Oh, well done.
And he was just, yeah, good. I was disappointed by the lack of combat service support representation in the game.
Oh.
He was disappointed by the lack of combat service support representation in the game. How do you think such logistical manpower, medical backbones can be introduced into the game? Right, I think it just goes to show that they don't actually serve a point in the battlefield. So,
where's the catering? Where's the, you need that. I mean, honestly, not thought that through.
That's what objective markers are for. You got objective marker for putting your burnt out logistics vehicles.
Yeah.
If you want to do
I still
medic
think...
stuff, you can always put the triage rules in from
no. And
Well, that's where I was going to
go.
go. Yeah.
The engineering stuff's got a place. I don't know why it's not got rules.
The thing there is to remember that the representation of being destroyed on a flames on the tabletop is not you are dead. You are no longer combat effective.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which
is why
one
105mm shell from a main tank can take out an infantry team. In reality, very unlikely. But you kill 3 of them and wound 1, and there's only 2 guys left. They're no longer combat effective. And I think that's where it kind of comes in. If it was me and I was being, asked that question, I would say put in like a command card. You pay a number of points. You can re-roll a certain number of infantry saves. Maybe.
What about morale? Would it not have a morale effect?
Oh, that would be good.
So you maybe don't get maybe not a re-roll. Maybe it's there's like a one-off effect.
The last stand or something like that.
Yeah, you your
last stand. Yeah, your last stand because you've got a really effective combat. Medics taking your wounded away.
Yeah,
you can automatically re-roll your last stand through casualties.
Yeah, or once or something, or just so it's not
Or
overpowering. It's not as good
automatically
as-
pass the first one.
yeah,
That'd be good.
that's what I would do. I'd make it
Ooh.
auto pass the first one.
That'd be
You're forced to
brutal.
take.
And then the next time you're like, actually, this is pretty crap. We've got T-72s everywhere. and I'm
Exactly,
just
it's time
getting
to go.
punched in the face. Yeah. Doesn't matter that I'm going to put a really pretty plaster of Paris cast on my arm, and my arm's over there.
But it also means that it's not any better than the company commander. So you got different to
Yeah.
the company commander rule.
Yeah.
The bridging stuff, I think you could just have almost some of it. The recovery vehicle things is just have that. What's it? Cross here order.
Uh-huh.
They can issue that like a platoon commander. So your platoon commander could do
Ooh.
something else.
I also think that sometimes, the whole wargaming gets it wrong. And actually, sometimes, in my experience, at least with my military units, having the company commander right next to you should force you to re-roll successful rallies.
Yeah, not happy. Well, how
What are you-
popular is he?
Just go away. Just leave us alone so we can get on with this.
Yeah, you're attracting fire, you idiot.
Yes. Why have you got a gigantic flag on your tank, sir?
Can you? But I think there's some cool stuff you could put in there as command cards. I mean, they've got the bridging stuff, haven't they, in the command cards for the Avri?
Yeah.
And that's
But
that's
the
amazing.
trouble is, Team Yankee doesn't have them, does it? Doesn't have command cards. Which,
that's a different problem, but yes,
for
it
good
doesn't.
and bad,
Well,
Mostly bad.
yeah, mostly bad.
mostly bad.
But I think there's some cool stuff you could do. Like you got the Big Fred and Little Fred radar systems for the Soviets as well.
Mm-hmm.
That could have some kind of, I don't know, like mark them up for your anti-air units or something like that. There's plenty you could do that could actually be quite nice. Play a point. It's got to be better than Lucky, right?
Unlucky.
That's my
Force an
argument.
opponent to re-roll a dice.
That's my everything. More 1 point cards so we can just get Lucky invalidated completely.
Gone.
Yeah,
Gone
gone.
completely. Finally, then, Lack of Foresight Gaming asks, with a ton of new stuff on the horizon, what are the gang most excited about for the upcoming releases in 2023? Oof.
Oh, who's passed out? Was that Lee?
That's me. I just dropped
okay.
my phone in excitement for Berlin.
Oh, I thought he'd just fallen over. Oof, it's too much. All right, S-Tanks. Still S-Tanks.
Oh, God, I mentally blocked out the Team Yankee
No, S-Tanks.
Northern stuff.
It's always going to be S-Tanks. There is no cooler tank.
I have enough toys to paint. I have enough toys
It's
to
not
paint.
a tank, it's a tank destroyer. And the tank destroyer is a tank.
I'm married. I'm a married spud. I don't need more. Oh, there's so much.
It's going to happen. Lee's already bagged the Danes.
Norwegians, I beg Norwegians.
Oh, yeah, Norwegians.
Yeah, but that's what I want. I've been to half those places. I got to park the aircraft in a Haas.
There's only one way to sort this out.
We both do Norwegians because there's no real limit.
No, Harry
Yes!
Hill. Harry Hill, fight, obviously.
No, we're both the Norwegians.
Oh, God, there's not enough Soviet Marines. Oh, Dutch Marines. I hope there's Dutch Marines.
Oh, hovercrafts.
No, because the other thing is there was a Brighton goalkeeper called Michel Kuipers, and he was a former Dutch Marine.
Really?
Yeah, there's a song about him.
Nice.
But he was a chef, like in Under Siege.
We still need to do our Suez amphibious fight.
Yes.
Wow, some of us have got PT-76s painted already.
Are they waterline versions?
No, why would I do that? Why would I have waterline? No one should have that.
There's always a bigger boat, Duncan.
No, there's not. Although I do want some hovercraft for my Iranians.
Exactly, right? I mean,
Well, they did Chinooks. There can't be that much difference to do a massive hovercraft.
Well, they did. I know that when they released NARM, they sculpted a 1 to 100 scale B-52.
Was it singing Love Shack?
Which you heard why NARM exists, right?
Yeah.
Because the studio head went away for a week. They were soldiers too many times, and it ended up sculpting an entire range.
Yeah, this will work.
Yeah, this would be great. This is awesome.
Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. But yeah, I
I'm so
mean,
excited.
that's kind of it. I can't even remember what's coming out now apart from that. I suppressed it all.
There's a whole load of things that they sneaked, and there'll be more that will just happen and arrive.
Late War Leviathans, there you go, Lee. That's for you.
See, I don't mind for being late Leviathan as long as they're integrated in a way that you can then ignore them if
No.
you want to.
No, they'll be in-book formations like the mid ones.
Stop
Or
it.
you do like I say, do it like a 1946 book.
Yeah.
No, in formation, in book, not wild cards. That's how it's going to be.
Entirely unavoidable.
Entirely.
Yeah.
The-
There'll be a black box for every single company
Yep.
in the book.
The waft of inevitability about it.
It's going to be a good year, though, boys. I'm excited. We've painted so much already, and it's not even halfway through January.
Well, certainly Duncan has.
Yeah. I'm going to try not to buy anything new. I've got plenty to paint, so.
Exactly.
Not at this rate, you get it all painted.
No.
Well, and then it's a happy problem to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never.
No, you can't paint everything, otherwise you die. I keep telling you.
That is also true. That's why I live forever.
I do need one more BMP because I forgot that the company commander needs one.
It's got to have a ride.
It's one point. It's ridiculous.
It's a point to give him a ride.
Yeah, it's 2 points for a commander, and you're like, can you not have? He's one stand. Could he not have got his BMP free?
Having the individual sprues back on the Battlefront store would be nice.
Be helpful, especially for the stuff that's not on tanks.
Exactly.
They're quite expensive now as well as box sets. Have you seen how much they are?
Yeah, the cost of everything are going up, aren't they?
They're £11 for a single tank sprue.
Yeah, at that point you're better off buying the £8-9
Yeah,
loose. Cool. Events then. 4th and 5th of February is Caravery 2023 at Battlefield Hobbies in Daventry.
I think I'm alright for that one.
Coming, Duncan?
Yeah, I think I'm alright for that one. I'll get a ticket.
You are?
I think so.
Get a ticket. I'll drive us up there. It'll be fun.
Oh no, I've got to drive. I've got to drive as well because I think I've got to go north.
Oh no, not again.
Yep, spent half my life up there. But yeah, I'll see because it might be I have to go up on the. You're going up on the Friday.
I'm going up on the Saturday morning.
Oh, bugger. Okay. All right then.
We'll see. We'll figure something out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The 4th and 5th of March is Winter War 2023. Finnish Flames of War Nationals. Location is Ketihalle Sunaisunen Ratintai, which is in Helsinki, Finland.
Soren's going, so don't worry about.
Well, not if he goes
painted.
to what I just said. I'll probably just insult his grandmother.
Have you seen his Gerberg, Jaeger?
No, because I clawed my eyes out after looking at those pictures
Jesus,
and hammered them with my.
He's gone like next level. I don't know how. I didn't think
he already was next level.
Well,
That's the annoying
he's
thing.
found a whole new level.
He's found a whole new level of just insanity.
Yeah.
It's positive for him. Happy waves into the universe.
Just makes me want to cut my hands off. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's Flames of War Finnish Nationals, which is in Helsinki. There is a Facebook page website that you can find. It's mid-war. It's 100 points of the dynamic points. 40 players, and the event contact is FOW events Finland @gmail.com. FOW.
That's really lucky that his parents had the foresight to
name him FOW events Finland.
Correct, yeah.
All one word at gmail.com. I'm very tempted. Although, unfortunately, March. I'm all for traveling to other countries to play war games.
Mm-hmm.
It's my new favourite thing. Salute War Game Show, 22nd of April, Excel Centre in London. It's not a tournament, but it is an event. It's the 50th, the big 5-0.
Yeah,
I
go or it won't exist next year.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But also, if you guys are free, maybe we could do like a Patreon meetup.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for free beer.
Why would it be free?
Because you guys will be paying.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Why do you think I invited you?
Yeah. Honestly.
You don't have a dog and bark, Duncan.
Yeah.
No, I'm. It's Anarchy models are not. If you want any airbrush stencils, Anarchy models, check those out. Awesome. Aren't actually don't have a trade stand. So for once, I'll be going as a punter.
Oh, how interesting!
So I won't be working a stand. I won't have to be driving there early. I'm just going to go up there and have some fun and see what's around, and maybe buy toys if I've painted enough toys to be able to buy toys. Which at this rate I will, because I'm churning through things.
Yeah, what Lord of the Rings things just cleared off. Yeah,
I know. I have just bought a Necromunda Cargo 8 land train with trailers.
Oh, God.
But I'll get it painted when it arrives tomorrow, and then we'll be good. 4th, 5th, 6th of August, ETC Mid-War. 100 points Mid-War in Belgique. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. Or it'll be terrible. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, there is a thing about events where your mindset going in about having fun and just be determined to have fun really does affect how you come across those first stumbling blocks where it doesn't quite go to plan. As long as I know the venue's the same, so they won't have a £13.50 sausage roll, whatever it was, at Warfare.
Oh yeah,
which is on the 11th and 12th of November this year, which is Warfare Reading, which is late war again. I've missed Nationals. Sorry, 23rd, 24th of September is Flames of War UK Nationals at Battlefield Hobbies with Hammy. Hooray! Which is mid-war. Excited about that. And I think this is the last. Every time I look at this list, I'm like, that's a great weekend. That's going to be a good weekend. It's just good. Good weekends of playing toy war dollies. If you have any events, let us know on the Facebook page or through.
Did Mark
Discord
send you one? Did you just read that one out?
That's the finished one that I put in
is
there.
that the finished one?
Subtly, that no one knew.
Genius.
Yep. So you're welcome, Goddard. I accept payments through traveller's checks and stamps.
Small denomination notes. Yeah.
Small denomination notes, euros. That is the end of the events that I have in front of me so far. Apart from the one that we're going to force Lee. When are we forcing Lee to run Dak Goes Back?
Never. No doing it.
Dackety Dak Dak.
I'm retired from TA.
Daggity Dak, don't talk back.
Exactly. Take out the papers and the trash.
I think we're on to shoot and scoop.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were still bullying me.
What's our stats for today?
87 episodes, boys. I think we're veterans by now.
Are we?
Oh, definitely not get past now.
No.
Exactly. You read my mind.
One.
There we go.
Yeah. Stand up.
One without a reroll. The Armored Train of a podcast. Oh, Armored Train? No. Armored Train wreck. It is a wreck. Totally a wreck.
Yeah.
But obviously a wreck is
it Desert
just,
Storm?
Terrain. No cross check. It's just the Armored Train wreck of a podcast you can listen to with Shoot and Scoop, Flames of War podcast, and the team at Breakthrough Assault.co.uk. It's what you guys support from Battlefield Hobbies, Dice of War, Frontline Terrain, and B-52. I crash you. Wreckage across the board. Mwah, airplanes, mwah.
Wah airplane. Yeah. Wah.
Well, I always appreciate knowing that Duncan is now the biggest air power advocate amongst us. So.
Yes.
They're in all the time. I'm going to get both kinds of Stukas.
Both kinds of Stukas.
Both kinds of Stukas.
Country and Western.
It comes in pints.
Ranch and original.